Hello, everybody, and welcome to Zero Gravity Gaming. We're on the pre-show here, something we haven't had around these parts, but I am MXL, joined by my lovely co-desk hosts, I guess I'll go with, Fury and Wisdom. How are we doing tonight, y'all?
I'm doing great.
Doing pretty
I
good
am
overall.
ready for tonight. Ready to get the season going.
Yeah, definitely really excited to be here tonight. Of course, uh, it's been a little bit. We had a pretty interesting format, I would say, coming out of last season. We had the Worlds format, 4 groups of 4, the double elimination bracket. It was a long trip for a lot of teams, but tonight we've got a whole new lineup of teams, and of course, I'm gonna end up starting here with our second division of teams. As the streamed game is the first division, we're gonna just close out the night or close out the show with a little bit of a preview on that. So, to start with the teams that we've got here tonight, Division 2, Clown Gaming Fools. There's some notable names here. I'm looking at Feathers and Induced. Fury, how are you feeling about their likelihood this coming split?
I'll be honest, I have them down as not playoff contenders, only based on
Ooh.
what I've seen from Clown Gaming in the past, how they played last split, mainly in BOL. That's all I'm really going off of. What may have changed since then could be significant to whether or not they succeed. I hope they do, but just going off of a prediction, I would have to say that they wouldn't.
Ooh. Matt, what are you thinking about that? Any spice on your end?
I honestly think having Induced and Easton on the same team is going to just actually push them into playoff contention. Like, bot lane's going to be interesting because I haven't seen support very much. 80 carry is not terrible. But, like, the top mid and jungler, I think, are going to just carry the entire game at this point.
All right. I'm definitely interested to see this team. It's always a pleasure seeing Feathers come out. We always see the Alawi, the Urgot, right? And those are the two Feathers champs. So we'll have to see if those ever rear their
Wow,
ugly heads in the
you're
Just
league.
don't get banned every game. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Next up, though, we have TA Evolution. Notable name here, Trucks. Might be a big one. Some people know. Matt, I'll let you start off on this one. What are your expectations for this team coming into this season?
With ambition, you always have to expect them to at least make playoffs. They have CH Gaming, who was actually also on a Clown Gaming team last split. So that's going to be interesting, pulling him from them. Trucks is, of course, Trucks. You see him like almost every split, just demolishing people in the bot lane. So I think it's going to be good for him.
Fury, any thoughts on your end?
I would just have to agree. Pretty solid team. Really only no trucks, but just going based off of the organization itself and knowing the backing that they have, they should have a pretty decent time.
Perfect. Keeping it quick. I tend to agree. I think team looks pretty strong on paper. We'll have to see if they hold up to that expectation. But next up, we got RAR. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. In some sense of the word. Fury, I'll let you start taking
I got
this
no
one down.
comment. I got no comment. You can pass that one down.
Matt, any thoughts?
I don't see them making it very far, and I expect to have at
Ooh.
least 5 or 6 different people playing at this point with them every
Yeah, I'll agree with
single
that.
match. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I have it written down as well. RAR notorious for some roster instability that can come through, but we'll see. Usain looked fairly strong in Plat League last season, and of course, with the exception players coming in, did stay at that platform mark. So being part of this gold roster could be a pretty big carry for the team if they're able to pop off. That's kind of where my eyes are going to look towards for this roster to succeed. But yeah, I a lot of question marks there, to say the least. Next up, Conduit Esports Ghost. Fury, I'll give this one to you, I guess, because you just ignored RAR.
I'm a little bit biased towards Conduit Esports only because I work with those guys. I love all those guys. Conduit Esports Ghost, even with that bias aside, looks nuts. Everybody on that roster is pretty stacked. Pretty much veterans all around from top to bottom. Tonight might be a little bit iffy for them with they have a couple subs coming in for them, but after that, I think they're going to balance out and stabilize really well.
Matt, any thoughts on your end?
I'd agree. Honestly, Conduit again, like one of those teams that you just know is going to be able to make playoffs pretty quickly. Just in general, with their teams consistently being good. You have a good portion of what GSG used to be: Dobbs, Vandrel, Bam coming in. You also have Genetics and Barak playing tonight, which again, Like they're consistently in games or consistently playing for teams. Like you aren't going to have a bad game with them.
It's also worth mentioning that GSG core that you brought up did end up getting a second place finish last season as well with MDF, a certain team that
Yeah,
someone
okay.
might be a little biased towards.
Let's keep bringing them up, shall we?
I listen, man. That Shaco pick made me really sad. Vandrel, just don't pick Shaco. Also, don't pick Rengar. Anyway, going forward, TD Aftermath. This one, I'll give it over to you, Matt. Batman's back.
I'm back playing on another different team because I know he's on a couple different teams before. Batman is the only person I see from this that I know minus Buckby to an extent. I don't think it's going to be a strong enough team to make high playoffs. I'm thinking like they may end up having to fight for like the bottom of the playoffs at this point.
Okay. Fury, your thoughts here?
I'm kind of in the same realm. I have them as just a solid team, not necessarily top of the pack, but not bottom either. They're gonna level out somewhere in the middle.
All right. We'll have to see if that holds true, of course. And next up, we've got a new organization to Zero Gravity Gaming. This one started by Squad Fam. Yep. I mean, he was here last season as well. Shining Light
All
Sentinels.
we know.
Welcome back, Squad Fam. Yeah, Fury, I'll let you start this one.
I don't have Sentinels going far. Whenever I say this thing, I don't mean to be mean, by the way. It's just that's just how it is. I don't have them being even in the middle right now. We'll get to Guardians when we get to Guardians. But Sentinels, I just going off of what I've seen so far, I don't really feel too confident in them.
All right, interesting. Matt, your thoughts?
I would have to agree. I think the biggest difference is with BDE from IBS and Gold, they're not coming in this split. So I know they want to take a break. So this is where Squad Fam's coming from, is from BDE previously. He's coming into this one. I don't see Sentinels doing great, personally. They're just the teams a lot of people I haven't ever seen playing. So I don't think they're going to make it very far. If they do, it could be one of those Black Horse teams. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, this is my personal dark horse team. I think a lot of people are actually going to sleep on them a little bit. So we'll have to see if they live up to that expectation. But next up, SNC Grumpy Bears. I think this is the first time we're seeing Snack Bears in gold as well. But Wisdom, I'll let you start this one off here. What do you think about this logo?
I mean, the MS Paint is just riveting at this point for the logo. But overall, again, another team I haven't really seen anything out of. SNC, they weren't bad for IBS, but I mean, the gold roster looks almost brand new for people that you haven't really heard about. So, I mean, again, it could be another Dark Horse team where they could just be insane. You never know.
Fury, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I don't have too much to go off of either, with them being relatively new to myself. Whether they've been around the scene for a little bit, I'm not sure. But this is my first time, other than the BOL TFT tournament, that I'm seeing them.
Wow.
So TFT a little bit different than actual
nowhere
League of
near
Legends
it.
itself. But I don't really have too many thoughts on them. I think they could be really good. They could be really bad. They could be somewhere in the middle. I got nothing.
All right, interesting. I'm excited to see this roster. It's definitely a lot of new faces, but kind of in agreement with the two of you here. And lastly, to round out Division 2, we've got Revolution De-Evolution. Fury, I'll let you start this one, because Matt's a little biased here.
Rev D, what did I have? I'm trying to see what I had for notes on them real quick. Okay, so I just put that. I don't really know. I don't know any of them. I don't know any of those players at
That
all.
checks out.
Just going from what I saw on the OPGG, they could be pretty decent. I wouldn't put them very far down on the list at all. Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Interesting there. I'll see. Matt, why is Rev getting first in this group?
I don't think Rev's getting first. I think they'll be middle of the pack with this specific squad. You have Bickle, you have Downfall, both IBS veterans from ZGG, both played in RA, I believe, as well. Ominous, I've seen around a little bit in the gold scene, but again, like Sethi, Gabriel, I've not seen them play, so I don't have any information on them. I just know what I've seen from IBS games.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this roster in particular. I think a lot of it is, question mark if they're going to really pop off, what's going to happen, because you mentioned it. These are a lot of new faces for us. With that said, that does round out Division 2's teams for the time being. Just going to take a quick stab at this and get some really like no thoughts predictions on the Division 2 games. Clown Gaming Fools taking on Revolution De-Evolution. I'll start with Fury. Who's winning that game?
I have to give it a Revolution. Just
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just gonna give it a Revolution. I don't.
Okay.
Again, this is just going by. I would rather put my eggs into a basket of a team that I haven't seen before than one that I have seen that didn't do well. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, definitely appreciate that, Matt.
I'm going Clown. Clown has this team. I think is going to be better than what we've seen in the past for them. And this is having I played with them before. I played with Induced. I've played with Kills. I played with them both as a support for them. Back when Induced was playing AD carry during Lotus. So I think CG's going to win this one.
All right. I'm also going to say Clown Gaming Fools here. I'm leaning more in their bucket. Game number 2 on the list here. Team Ambition Evolution versus SNC Grumpy Bears. Matt, I'll let you start this prediction off.
Evolution 100% going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 2-0, honestly.
Okay. Fury, your thoughts?
I agree. I think it's B2.
Cool. We're sweeping the desk. I'm also going TA Evolution. Game 3, RAR taking on Shining Light Sentinels. Fury, your lead.
Shining Light Sentinels 2-1.
Ooh, okay. Matt?
I want to see Sentinels win. I don't want to see RAR win. So I'm going to say 2-1 as well. To be honest, I'm going to be real with you. I want Sentinels to win that game.
All right. I'm also leaning a little bit more towards Sentinels. I think RAR has the potential, but Sentinels might be a little. I got to root for my Dark Horse team, basically, is the moral of it. And lastly, we've got Conduit Esports Ghost and TD Aftermath. Wisdom, take that one away.
I'm going to say, honestly, I think it's going to be a Conduit Esports 2-1. I think TD's going to do well, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat them out.
Okay. Fury, your thought?
Ghost 2-0.
All right. We're sweeping the desk with 3 of these because I'm also going to take Conduit Ghost. I'm probably in the 2-1 boat as well. We'll have to see how that pans out. But predictions for Division 2 off the table. Now we get to look over at Division 1. And we go from Revolution to Revolution. So I'm going to skip Matt again. Revolution reimagined this time around. Fury, thoughts on this roster for this upcoming season?
I think that this is going to be one of those rosters that's actually the top of the division. Billy, Meekish, Vex Alistar. Like, Meekish and Vex Alistar in general as a bot lane are really good. Billy is going to int his face off, but that's fine. He's going to pull pressure. He's going to pull pressure from the rest of the map, and bot lane's going to pop off from there. That's all.
Hashtag heck Billy is all I'm hearing
Hashtag
right now.
Always heck Billy.
Matt, your thoughts here?
I think they're honestly going to be one of the better teams. The bot lane is definitely going to be like what I think you should be watching out for, because Meekish and Vex are just insane. Like, their synergy is something that you don't see usually in Gold, but it's like they work so well together every single time.
Yeah, even in my notes coming into this season, I look at Rev and I that bottom 3, right? The mid AD support, that's where my eyes are going to be drawn for this team. And if they're able to do well, it could look really, really good over the course of the season. Next up, though, Dorado Gaming Lambda. First time we're seeing a Dorado Gaming team here in ZGG, and I'm personally very excited to see them. Wisdom, I'll let you start with this roster.
The only person I have seen from this entire roster is Chitin, and Chitin is a freaking insane mid laner by far. Like, consistently gets MVP in the leagues that he plays in. I think they're going to do decently well, even though I've not seen anybody else from the team. I think that just Chitin's overall just leadership is going to bring them to a higher seeded team, honestly.
Fury, your thoughts?
I know every single one of these guys.
Like, somebody does. Thank God.
These guys are going to be very, very good. Yeah, Kobadi is just a great top laner. River's a really, really good jungler. I guess Chitin, I feel like, gets so many different labels on him. He's either super overrated, he's the best mid laner, he's the worst mid laner. I think he's spectacular. And then Efren and Nagini are just a really good bot laner. I expect them to be finalists, just in general.
We're throwing out the finalist word. Wow.
I'm going in early.
I would have to agree, though, honestly.
I'll eat my words, but
I think this is going to be one of those teams to watch out for, to be like top team, and like if they drop a game, I'll be surprised, honestly.
Wow. All right, that'll be interesting to keep an eye on DGL, see how well they end up doing. Next up, we've got NSG Amethyst. A lot of new faces here from my perspective, but Fury, what are your thoughts on this team?
Um, I don't know. I don't know too much about them personally. That's just all I have in my notes. Is I don't really know a whole lot about them. But looking through OPGGs, some solid points, some negatives. I would think a little bit more negatives than positives. Uh, I would probably put them in the middle. I don't think they're gonna be the worst. I don't think they're gonna be the best though. They're gonna be somewhere in the middle. They'll make playoffs.
Matt, you thinking something similar here?
Honestly, I don't know very many of them either. Again, like some of these like rosters are like brand new to what I've seen, and I've been in around the scene for a bit. But I think I'm gonna agree with Fury. I think it's gonna be a mid tier team. I think they have the potential to do really well. And they also have the potential to just absolutely just shit the bed. Honestly,
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I think this kind of screams more towards their mid jungle, in my opinion. I think looking at it, this is where my focus for this team is going to be. We'll see if that changes as the season progresses, of course. But we're going to move on now. We're going to skip over two teams in the list because those two teams are going to be on stream. We'll cover them a little later. So we're going to jump to Off the Za. I've never heard of this team before. That logo is pretty golden, though. I will say that much. Matt, I'll let you start this one off.
I don't like that there's no pizza in the logo. To be fair,
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
I'm a little upset about that. Overall, again, a team I've never seen before. Most of these people I've never even heard of. So I think this seems like this could be the dark horse of this group. I think realistically.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair,
I'm right there with them. This team is like so far off my radar. It's insane. I really don't know any of these people. I haven't seen them in any other leagues. Like unless there was name changes, which happens so often, it
all the
really
time
messes with me.
It could happen, yeah.
Yeah, this is like you said, another one of those teams that could just absolutely run away with it. I don't expect them to though.
All right, fair enough. We're gonna move on then to Conduit Esports Kraken, the sister team to Conduit Esports Ghost in the other division here. Notably, Kappa Crusader in the jungle for this team. Fury, I'll let you start this one off.
This team, I don't think is going to be as much of a powerhouse as Ghost is. I would have to say, unfortunately. Going to be solid. They're either going to make playoffs or lose it by like one game. It is what I think. They're bottom of playoffs.
All right, Matt.
Honestly, like a good number of notable names. You have Merciful, you have Brotherhead, you have Ipsy, you have Kappa. Kappa being the exception player, he did get platinum playing top lane, not jungle.
Yeah,
our producer's trolling us.
I swear. So I don't know how it's gonna go because I know he was really excited about playing top lane. I don't know if he got like just pushed back into the jungle because he's like it's the team ways. I think they'll do decently. Again, I think it's gonna be like they'll either just smash it or they'll end up just getting gapped in ways you wouldn't expect it to happen.
Teams and their dark logos. I hate it here. Next
Can't
up,
see anything.
There actually is there.
There is. And unfortunately, there's a detail of a little like kraken in the top right.
At the top, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little like squid in the top right. It's so cool. Like there's so much like good detail in that, and you just can't see any of it.
Can't see anything.
Unfortunate. And then lastly, in this division, we've got Shining Light Guardians. Matt, I'll let you start this one.
This is another team I know very few people from. I remember 650 by 602, and that's about it from them. I know they also have a sister team that I think we didn't really know much about. So I feel like this is just a new organization, just getting some players and going. We'll see how it goes for our first run around, and then we'll just work from there. And honestly, that's not a bad idea. Get a roster in, get your name out there in the first place, and then start getting better players as it goes on.
Yeah, Fury.
I think they're a solid team. I've managed to sit in and spectate a couple of their scrims, and just from what I've seen, they play very, very well. They seem to have, I didn't get to listen in, but they seem to have very good communication and good calling based on how the team moves around the map. So their macro, no pun intended, with the top laner is going to be pretty good, something to pay attention to in the games.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see because there are our first game on the list for the First Division Gold games here tonight. We've got them taking on Revolution Reimagined, which I think we might all be in agreement here. I'm leaning more towards Rev for this one.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I 100% agree with that. Honestly, I think Rev's gonna be able to take. Again, it's a newer team, and I think Rev, with the fact that they have such veteran players, they'll be able to do a lot better overall.
Fury, any other thoughts on that?
I think it's mainly going to be in the bot lane too. It's
Yeah.
going to be something to pay attention to. Hamada and Asuri versus Mikish and Vex Alistar. I think Mikish and Vex Alistar should have a significant advantage, and I think we're going to be seeing 650 by 602 going bot lane a lot.
All right. I'd like to hear that for sure. Next up, Dorado Gaming Lambda taking on Conduit Esports Kraken. Another one that, based off of our earlier discussions, I'm leaning towards DGL for this.
Yeah, that's Lambda 2-0 for me.
I would have to agree.
If they get a game off on them, awesome. That's great. I don't think they take the series, though.
All right. Next up, NSG Amethyst versus Off Daza. This one's a little tougher. I'll let Fury start this.
Only because I am more aware of NSG as a whole, and most of their teams are very good. I expect this team to do just as well as they do, and don't really know Off Daza. So NSG, I'll give them 2-1.
Matt?
I'd have to agree. I think NSG is going to have. I feel like they just have a better structure than Optazada does, because again, like NSG's been around for a bit. You've seen teams in like RNRA, you've seen them in BOL, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So they have been around for a bit. They have at least a structure of a team. I think they'll be able to do it. I think it's going to be another 2-1 though, as well.
All right, I'm going to be the contrarian here and say it's going to be ODZ taking a 2-1 tonight. So we'll see. Should be an interesting series nonetheless. But that does bring us to our streamed game, our featured matchup tonight. Tenebrous Esports Eternity, Going Ghost. These two teams we haven't talked about yet. Going Ghost looks very similar to last season, and they ended up getting 3rd out of 16. I'd also say they upgraded in some of their roles, looking at, the jungle, the mid lane, looking very strong in comparison. So what are your thoughts on the teams in the matchup for it tonight? We'll start with Fury once more.
Same thing that I was kind of just talking about. The last team, Going Ghost, I've also been able to sit in and kind of see a couple of their scrims, watching them from last split. Kilgar looks awesome in the mid lane. Witch at Black Mask. Witch at Black Mask. I don't know why that's so hard to say for me every time. Is really good at jungling and counter jungling and just continually keeping times on the enemy jungler. So they need to watch out for that. The jungle is going to be the biggest matchup.
Matt, your thoughts?
I think, again, it's going to be jungle mid. Since both jungles are the cap exceptions, you're going to have to expect really good things out of both of them, considering they're plat players, at least plat 4. I think it's going to be a jungle mid consistency at this point. I think it's going to be. I think any carry support is going to be a good matchup bot lane. I think it's going to be pretty evened out, and top lane's going to probably just be like what Noodle fight as usually is. But I think jungle mid's going to be what you have to watch out for, because if Kilgar can get ahead, he's going to get ahead, and it's going to happen really quick.
Definitely interested to see how that's going to play out. Of course, we are going to get some predictions for that before I let y'all go here. Fury, what's the score of tonight's game?
2-1 Ghost.
Okay. Matt, your thoughts?
I'm going 2-1 Ghost as well.
Ooh, all right. This is going to be kind of spicy. I think I'm in agreement. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1 Going Ghost, but it definitely promises to be a very good matchup nonetheless. Any last-minute thoughts before we take this to a quick break and get our last caster in here for the night?
Not nothing. I'm just excited to see how it goes. First games of the night should be pretty solid. We'll start seeing those, win losses come in on the Discord. Everybody's gonna be itching to pay attention to those. Make sure you guys are paying attention to your opponents. Never underestimate anyone, is what I would say. As much as you think you're gonna 100% win the game, it's not always guaranteed.
Yeah. I can speak from experience. The amount of best of 3s we win game 1 and lose 2 and 3 in, oof, tough. Yeah, Matt, you know the curse. You played on that team.
A couple times, yeah. To be fair, though, we did 2-0 somebody once, so that was fun.
That was enjoyable. Yeah, I will also mention, it's going to be really fun watching people flame us for being wrong with our predictions. So we're going to see.
I want to be wrong. I want to see a 2-0 happen that we just don't expect. I want it to happen. I want to see fast games. I think that'd be crazy to watch a team just win 2 games in 20 minutes each and just be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun nonetheless. But Matt, any last thoughts from you before we take this off air?
I just want everybody to have fun. Honestly, League's a fun game if you're playing with friends, and if you're playing on a good team, you have friends playing with you in the first place. So just get out there, just win games if you can, and if not, then it with your friends. Fuck it.
In with your friends. I guess that's going to be the moral of the story here tonight. What a weird way to end it on. But we are going to take a short break, get Industrial on in here, as her and I will take coverage of the Tenebrous Esports Eternity versus Going Ghost series. Should be happening just after a short break here. Thank you guys for tuning into the pre-show, and we'll be excited to see you here next week. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming's Gold League. We've got opening night here tonight. You saw me a little bit earlier on the pre-show, but I am joined now by Industrial on the Colorcast. How are you doing tonight?
I'm so excited to see what happens. However, I do hope this game, like the games don't go too long because I would like to go to bed early. So,
Well,
but
if that's your goal, pre-show is not your friend. We were all predicting this to go 3 games, so we'll see
yeah,
what
I
happens.
heard and I was like, but someone else said they were like that there's going to be a game that goes 2-0, and in my head as he said that I was like, man, I hope he's right. But we'll see. I think these teams are pretty good. I think they'll be a good like opposition to each other. I'm curious to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens. I would like to see things like it go on longer, but I also would like to go to bed, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Of course, these two teams, we were talking a little bit about it in the pre-show. We're expecting it to be a very jungle mid-focused game, and already we're into the pick ban. You see Fiddlesticks being banned kind of leans into that a little more. Same with the Volibear.
I whenever I was looking at like the information for the teams, that kind of stuff, those were the two that I saw. And there's the Aatrox, and all this is just like I'm seeing a lot of people's mains get banned right now, which is what it looks like.
Yeah, and I mean, especially here in week 1, a lot of our teams are kind of feeling each other out. You're more looking into, okay, there's the chance that we don't really know what they're playing. We don't know what these teams are. Like, Tenebrous is new as far as we're concerned. Going Ghost has been around the block. We saw them a little bit last season, but Tenebrous, you kind of just have to ban the comfort. You got to look at the solo queue, triple ban the jungler, and see what's up.
Yeah, Swain pick though, because I did see Swain in the like histories and that kind of stuff. So I am curious to see what the Swain can do.
Yeah, and this champ has been flexing roles a little bit. We've seen mid, support, top all do fairly well, but Sylas is another champ that's been kind of rising in priority as of late, and oh my gosh, never mind. Good Faith Draven.
Oh.
Yep. This champion's broken right now, for the record. It's being so much pro play.
Yeah, I am, I play against Dravens. I'm an ADC main, and whenever I see a Draven get locked in, I just know I'm not gonna have a fun time. I just watch that happen, and oh man, I feel... Eternity's got this, though. I believe in Eternity.
See, I'm the guy who locks in the Draven, so
yeah.
I know it's pretty terrifying. We could see a few different fun builds come out. I'm personally a huge fan of the Essence Reaver Eclipse build.
I do like the Essence Reaver Eclipse.
It feels good. It's so much damage.
Yeah,
but Jarvan locked in as well into Sylas Draven. You know, fairly immobile AD carry, can do fairly well, and now we see the Kench locked in. Technically a flex, but
no, it's gonna
we'll
be
see
support.
where it goes.
It's gonna be support. I already know it. It's gonna be support, and I think it's gonna be Swain mid and Jarvan jungle so far, and then Sylas mid and Draven bottom, obviously. But it's definitely, I truly believe it is top edge support.
We'll have to see. Of course, especially at this level of play, nothing is set in stone. Oh my gosh, I'm getting flashbacks to Going Ghost from last season, where this would have been a Brinticus Poppy. He would be like terrorizing the Rift with it. A really good matchup into the Jarvan as well, so there's a decent shot of it doing fairly well. Of course, Witch at Black Mask going to be in the jungle this time around, so picking that one up, feeling pretty confident in that. And now we see some more targeted bans. No Aphelios for Tenebrous Esports. And Anivia, sorry Kilgar, you're not getting your hands on that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what gets banned next, honestly, in these next... Oh, no one. That's interesting, honestly. Oh, they both banned no one.
Oh, you're seeing, okay, your thing bugged out. You're going to have to refresh it. But
I see it now. It's
Twitch and Darius.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting to me as well, because when I think of Good Faith is kind of the Twitch Draven player here. Oh my gosh, she's here! I didn't think we'd see this champ. She's so bad right now.
But we gotta love Morgana. We gotta love Morgana.
Still a Morgana main at heart.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's she feels so bad right now. It's not great.
They let the two Morgana mains cast, man. They made a mistake here.
I set the schedule up. It's fine.
No, it's
GP
fine.
though, this champion got nerfed on this patch. They just made it so his passive now crits. That's one hell of a nerf, Riot. His barrels slow a little less as well, I guess, but they scale with crit chance on the slow. very, very strong top laner. Still ridiculous if you are comfortable with the pick. And now we're just looking for that AD carry. Of course, Swain can be flexed to the marksman role. We've seen it before. And we're going to see Akshan locked in, actually. So no questions really answered here.
This is a very interesting team.
And Olaf.
If I'm going to predict Eternity's team, if I'm going to predict who goes where, it has to be Akshan ADC, Tom Kench support, Swain mid, Gangplank top, and Jarvan jungle.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Of course, on your screen now, we do see ProComps here. Thank you once again to ProComps for sponsoring our broadcast this season. Some analysis that comes through, of course, looking at the blue side, you're looking at a lot more engage, a lot more of this kind of protection style with that Tom Kench. You have that engage potential with that Jarvan. I couldn't even remember the champion's name. It's fine. It happens sometimes. You have this kind of like pseudo frontline drain tank Swain that comes through, and a lot of kind of AoE team fighting. That's what the name of the game is going to be. You look at the red side, pick. I mean, again, you look at the graph, it literally is just pick potential. That is the name of the game. You have the Morgana, you have the Poppy. There's so much single target CC that comes through. And of course, with that pick comes the lack of scaling. ProComps, once again, thank you for this. That little graph in the bottom left that you see kind of shows which team should have the advantage over the course of the game. Early on, it's going to lean towards that pick potential team. Later, the team fight tends to win out, but Industrial, I'm curious as to your thoughts on these two compositions here.
Honestly, I'm not so sure how I feel about them, if I'm gonna be honest. They're just very interesting to me, I guess, because I don't see team comps like this kind of often. I do see what they're saying, though, with Ghost being the more, like, pick potential, definitely. With the Draven and the Morgana, you just get rooted, and then Draven auto-attacks you, and it's just a horrible time. I do think Sylas, though, has some very good ults here to steal off of and leash off of. When it comes to Eternity, though, I do like their team. It's very, like, tanky, very bruisery, and I do think that they can get a lot of damage off, especially if they play that Swain right. And Akshan is just a champion, man. I play ARAMs, and this guy is just reviving everyone, and I don't see him much in, like, Worms and that, like, normal Summoner's Rift anymore, but I'm excited to see the power of him on Summoner's Rift once more, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. It does look like ProComps predicted the lineups correctly. Of course, you can also switch those around if, for whatever reason, Toxic Koopa was playing the Akshan, which I know one or two people who will play Akshan AD carry. But yeah, it is worth noting as well. We see the level 1 snapshot over there in the right side of the screen as well. Both teams kind of have a decent level 1. Of course, I'm going to give the favor over to Olaf Sylas, generally speaking. Kench is not bad at a level 1. You also have, you know, some decent setup in a sense. Like, Akshan can swing in. There's some things you can do. You have the Swain pull, but ultimately, you know, probably should be playing it safe at the level 1, I would say. What are your thoughts here?
If Ghost really wanted to, they could just run down Eternity.
Yes.
Like, fully. Like, they got Olaf, they have Morgana queued, they got Draven, they got Sylas, they got everyone they need to just fully run them down. So I do think if Ghost has the guts to do it, which I truly think they will, like, nothing's stopping them, I do think someone's gonna get first blooded on Eternity's side. I do think someone will die if Ghost decides to invade level 1.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm really excited. Of course, we have some really spicy lanes that come through. I think Draven Morgana was not on my prep sheet tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. I know both champions are played by these two players, but not necessarily a great lane pairing, and Morgana is not the best right now, but into Kench, it's definitely pretty good. You have that level 1 potential with that Olaf Q, you have the Morgana bind, you have Sylas Abscond Abduct. Like, there are so many tools they have at that level 1 that I think TE is just going to play it safe. They're just going to try to 5-point, try to make sure they're not getting killed early on.
Yeah,
but you mentioned it earlier, right? Draven.
Yeah, Draven's just going to auto-attack. He's just going to have a great game, I feel like. I don't know, because, like, also, though, it's a Tom Kench, and Tom Kench holds a lot of health, and realistically, Draven is not going to build Kraken Slayer. We all know that. So I'm kind of curious to see what kind of, like, happens there whenever the Tom Kench gets more health. I do think that, like, if this game goes on too long, it is fully on Eternity's side. However, if Going Ghost can keep it short, keep it concise, just start slicing and dicing, going through towers, getting inhibs, getting turrets, and that kind of stuff, I do think that they can win this. But they need to make sure that Eternity does not scale up enough, especially with that tanky team comp.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It is definitely a tankier composition for sure, and you mentioned it. The lack of real tank shred can be concerning from Going Ghost, but if Draven gets off the ground, if he gets snowballing, this champ can be really, really hard to shut down. So we are going to take it to a short break. Will TE Eternity be able to take game 1 of this series, or are Going Ghost looking to continue their success from last season coming into opening night? We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Week 1 of the Zero Gravity Gaming Gold League. I am MXL. Joined alongside me is Industrial. And we were talking about the level 1 Spice. Pro Comps predicted this for us as well. Maybe we get some action here. We got the 5-stack coming in for TE Eternity. And on the right side, for Going Ghost, they're looking for that Tribush cheese. Not sure if they're going to find it.
I'm a little bit curious what's going on, but I guess they're moving up bot lane now, so we're about to see something nasty, because at this point, TE is just waiting for them to come through, and Going Ghost is taking the longest way to get there. But it might work out for them in the end that they're taking this time.
Ooh.
Yeah, people are backing.
Little bit of spice coming out here. They look like they're going to meet. All 5 stacking into the bush. Sam's going to pop instantly. First blood going over to Toxic Koopa. Kilgar going to have to flash over the wall as well. Good Faith just trying to get those axes down, but will end up falling. It's a double kill for the Swain, and the level 1 goes south. Beautifully played by Tenebrous Esports Eternity.
That was... Poor Sam. I just watched his health bar absolutely just go away immediately. And what's even more unfortunate about this is that the 2 people that died during that level 1 fight were the bot lane. And the person that got both the kills is the Swain APC, I guess. So that's just gonna suck going into it. Now that their laner has 2 kills and 150 gold bounty, he's so far ahead. And this is just a really great start for TE.
Yeah, and this is kind of what was needed. The team names up top are incorrect. We should be getting that fixed here in a second. Apologies on that front. But yeah, I mean, that is a pretty big boon, I would say, to this Swain Kench lane. Of course, it is kind of safe. You know, I think Swainar still goes through Kenshi as well. It's kind of ridiculous, but we'll have to see as this game progresses. Industrial, what's got to change going forward in this one?
I think from here, honestly, Ghost just needs to play a little bit aggressively, but not too aggressive. Like, a good medium of just, like, getting objectives and just kind of taking control of the map, saying, like, hey, early game is our time, and we're gonna knock you down beforehand. That's really just what needs to happen.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit of a disconnect coming through. Wild. Lots of disconnections everywhere. It was a quick pause. Now we get the pause after the pause. In classic Riot Games fashion, of course. But again, coming in mid, we see the charge come through. Pei, by the way, will have to flash on out of there. So, Akshan already losing that summoner spell in the lane. Ghost popped in the top side. Zork just trying to run down Orman. Might be able to do so. Nope, just a few autos will walk out.
Yeah, it looks like right now everyone's just getting set up, really. It's just getting levels, getting CS. No really big important objectives are up, but it does look like this Akshan is having a great time being against a melee mid laner right now.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game, right? We were talking a little bit about this during the load screen. This matchup kind of depends. If Kilgar can get into that melee range, really punish Akshan's realistically immobility when people are on top of him, there's a decent shot that this goes into Silas's favor. But after that level 1, definitely seeming a little more scared, getting poked out early on. That flash being burned is extremely necessary, but is it going to be enough? Well, we'll have to see as the Never Move lands on the bottom side. Vision of Empire down as well. Toxic Koopa just chilling, getting more HP back in that trade as a result of that passive. Locust Cade might be looking up towards the top side, though. Flag and Drag should be available. Flash is available for Zork. Will have to pop that to get out.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that Swain is just a champion that gets health back all the time. So I am curious to see if Good Faith does build a Executioners very soon, like early on or not. I'm kind of curious to see if that happens. It does look like, though, Ghost is getting ready for Dragon, which does looking, at least for Scuttle, to get set up. So I'm curious to see what happens there, and if the same pry will end up coming on Locust's side as well for Dragon.
Yeah, and worth noting, it was this patch where dragons were changed to be significantly tankier. They deal a little less damage as a result, but they take much longer to take down, so it's way more of a time investment if you look to take that early for either team, realistically. And with this Hextech Drake being the first one spawning, not going to get a Hextech Soul this game. No fun Hexgate plays. I really like seeing Hexgates. They're so much more fun.
They are fun. However, it's gonna be really fun seeing this dragon fight because I truly think that what's gonna happen is they're all gonna go on at the same time, and one team is gonna start the dragon first. And Hextech Dragon, if you're a low enough level, that's gonna do a lot of damage to you early on. And whatever team decides to start that dragon first, I truly believe will not be the team that gets it. So I'm curious to see what ends up happening down on that side.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I think it's also worth noting the AoE on Hextech Drake is ridiculous as that Never Move lands again. That is a thick wave, Sam. I'm not sure you want that fight. The stand aside comes through. The exhaust down on Toxic Koopa as well. Black Shield, another exhaust comes through as well. The Dark Binding lands. Good Faith trying to get the kill. The Flag and Drag comes through. Good Faith trying to run away. Will be autoed down. Will not end up falling quite yet, but Locust Cade and Witch of Black Mass trying to fight, trying to skirmish. Poppy finds the double. Morgana finds the third. Good Faith can't cash in, unfortunately, but it is a huge 3 for 0 in the bottom lane, as now Zork just landing those undertows onto Ormond, trying to win the trade. Kilgar in the mid side, in the meantime, getting that Kingslayer down as well, healing up, taking the advantage in the mid lane. What a series of plays for Going Ghost.
Wowza, that was really well done. That was a very good setup. Just everything there was
Kilgar takes the Akshan ult, has the comeuppance. Will it be used? No, the Ignite comes down. Kilgar finding the solo kill in the mid side.
This is definitely just a very good comeback from Ghost that honestly, I did not expect it to happen so soon, I guess. Like, obviously they were going to catch up at some point and it was going to get even, but I did not expect it to happen so soon. And that bot lane fight just really set up Witch in the jungle with that 2-0. And hopefully that Witch will be able to just keep it going and he'll keep that lead and just keep going.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. Good Faith not able to find any of that gold from the passive. Of course, Draven, one of those champs that actually does need to last hit some kills from time to time to get full value out of the champ, but still sitting on that Sheen on that Vampiric Scepter as well, so feeling pretty alright as the Ghost is popping to the top side. Tenebrous as well. Ormond's going to have to flash away. Zork going to be taken low. Will he fall? No, just barely staying alive up in the top side. Little overeager, but forces the flash nonetheless.
That was a very nice fight. I don't think there is much to really say about it. I think it was just one of those little trades. However, it is unfortunate that Zork missed that Q, but that's just one of those things where, like, it happens. It does look like Akshan, Pate will go find some wards and go clear them out. I do think this jungle dance is getting a little bit more serious now. I guess maybe not, because Locust... Oh.
Yeah, Never Move comes in, but the Abyssal Dive should... Atreus is able to just dive her way on out of there. Pretty good spell when you're against the lack of CC in this bottom lane.
Yeah. And we're seeing the teleport coming from Kilgar get into mid lane a little bit faster. But it looks like we may see... Oh! It looks like we see Locust is going for Rift Herald, but...
Yeah, little interesting to see. A lot of times you'll see these two neutrals traded, right? So, Black Mass not really recognizing that this is a window, not going to play it for that Drake, so might end up just giving both neutral objectives over. That Herald is uncontested, that'll be almost free for the side of Tenebrous Esports Eternity. As now the Abyssal Dive comes in, Sam's going to get knocked up here. The Never Move comes down, but it is spell shielded away. Demonic Ascension coming through for Toxic Koopa, who's going to flash forward, find the R2 as well. Good Faith going to be taken low, will be stunned, will be taken down by Toxic Koopa, but Witch of Black Mass is here, finds the charge down. The Eat coming through, though. Toxic Koopa shielded for so much. Thank you to the Devour as another Never Move lands. Toxic Koopa now out of the ultimate. Flash coming in from Kilgar has stolen the Demonic Ascension as well. The Abscondum Duck will not find the kill as Witch at Black Mass finds their third.
That was a good trade, but in the way that it shouldn't be. Like, it's unfortunate that they lost that objective, but they got the kills. But Good Faith is still behind. And as you mentioned prior, Draven does need to get some kills at some point. So hopefully Good Faith will be able to catch up and make that comeback that he needs to keep going.
Looking top, though. Zork has the flash available. Will be taken to about half HP here. No undertow landing, but with that Akshan showing top, Jarvan showing mid, Hextech Drake on the cards for the side of Going Ghost. They'll be able to pick up the first Drake of the game here.
I was curious to see for a second, though, if Locust would have gone towards it, but instead, Locust stayed on the, I forget what they're called, the little chickens.
Raptors, chickens.
Raptors. I call them chickens. I don't play
Depending on
jungle.
how old in this game you are, Wraiths, as the charge comes through on a Witch at Black Mass. Cataclysm comes down from Locust, though. Flag and Drag will not land. The kill going over once again to Witch at Black Mass. Oh, the swing comes in, and Pate finds the kill, finds the shutdown, gets the res even. Something we don't get to say too often in League of Legends, but pretty big kill for this Akshan to pick up here in mid.
That was definitely a good shutdown. I do think that Pate needed that to kind of get the ball rolling on Akshan, especially seeing as Kilgar is a little bit ahead. Not in CS, but the kill and the assist kind of helps a bit. And I think that shutdown gold, especially being ahead 17 CS, is going to be very helpful. And it is looking like Rich Herald's going to get popped down mid lane, which is...
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think they get it here.
We'll see. Of course, Demacian Standard, the name of Jarvan Flag, as actually the Cataclysm comes in. Kilgar forcing the flash out of 2. Witch of Black Mass will flash in as well. Finds the charge back on to Locust Cade, who should end up falling, will do so here. Witch of Black Mass trying to just take this fight further. Pate trying to get out. The swing comes through. Will it be enough? Witch of Black Mass, will they be able to find it? No! 6-1-1 on the Poppy, doing so much here after a little over-aggression from Pate.
You mentioned earlier that Ghost had this person that played Poppy that was just absolutely insane. Witch is honoring them so well.
Shoutouts to Brenticus. Yes, do remember you.
Yes, no. Witch is definitely... He's making up. He's proven that I can be that Poppy too. He's an absolute menace in the jungle. He may be down a little bit of CS, but he is 6-1. He is not someone that you want to see come in your lane right now. He is a threat.
Yeah, I mean... Witch of Black Mass, hitting him with the I am that guy, pal, actually. But doing fairly alright for themselves at this point. Already picked up that Turbo Chem Tank as well. The mythic that I think is the least valued out of the 3 tank mythics right now, of course, Frostfire is still really good. Sunfire, Diana has been surging through pro play. Good faith.
Oh,
Gonna dodge out on that never move.
Sunfire.
That was very scary. Listen... I play a lot of Sunfire Diana when I'm autofill jungle, as that Black Shield comes through. Exhaust down on Toxic Koopa, Abyssal Dive coming through. The ult comes through, but a beautiful Devour Atreus keeping her carry alive. Toxic Koopa, though, burning that exhaust now as well. Kilgar with that Demonic Ascension might be looking for more, but that over-aggression from Good Faith results in another kill for Toxic Koopa in the bot lane.
That was just very unfortunate to watch. But it does look like we made... Oh, never mind. Nothing's going on in the top lane. We did have a failed gank there. But I do feel like Good Faith, the issue is right now is Good Faith, like, he knows that he needs to get kills to keep going on and keep continuing if he wants to be a part of this game. But he's also down 30 CS because of his eagerness to murder.
Oh, Abscond Abduct lands. Pate gonna be stunned up against the wall more than likely. No, the Flag and Dragon lands on a 2. The Cataclysm as well. Kilgar ends up falling. The ult comes down from Witch of Black Mass, but it's not gonna be enough as that fight has already occurred. It's going to be just the 1-for-0 and going Ghost. Faltering a little bit. Comeuppance coming through. It's not gonna be quite enough. Witch of Black Mass barely staying alive.
That was very good for Good Faith to come in at that point to save Witch and...
Oh. Zork, Ormond gonna fight up here. Ultimate popped by Zork. Cannon Barrage as well, but the stand aside comes through. Locust Cade finds the first turret. Will not be able to find the kill. Good Faith finally finding a cash in, maybe a little too late. However, as the ult comes through, Sam gonna force 2 flashes. Teleport coming in from Kilgar as well. Dark Binding lands down onto Atreus. She's gonna be stunned up against the wall, taking down Kilgar, finding their second kill of the game in that mid lane on the Silas.
So, I'm glad to see that Good Faith got a kill. Good Faith got a kill. Good Faith needed that. Dragon is coming up too, and that was just not a good fight to take because of that. But they're gonna have enough time, and they're just gonna fight again for Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Drake's here in just about 10 seconds. Of course, the entirety of Tenebrous Esports Eternity already walking over. Zork with that Ghost on the Olaf, showing in the top lane. So this is a numbers advantaged fight for the side of TEE. We'll have to see if they're going to look to take it, as Pate, waiting in the shadows, will get spotted out here. Dark Binding lands, stand aside will do work. Good Faith setting up that kill for Witch of Black Mass, and now will end up falling as Sam. Cataclysm down onto one. Flash over from Toxic Koopa, though, to find two. Finds the kill onto Good Faith, and the barrels for Ormond will find the third. It's a 3-for-1 around the Drake for Tenebrous Esports Eternity.
Oh, and then we get the TP from the Gangplank, so he doesn't really miss out on much at the end of the day. He's back top lane already. That was very well executed, and I think the only way that Ghost could have avoided that genuinely is if they warded better. But obviously, that isn't going to happen all the time. Wards aren't always going to be in the right spots, and it's just a very unfortunate thing that they didn't have wards in the right spot and that kind of stuff. But we do see they're getting Rift Herald too. They're making time with all those kills that they got.
Yeah, I mean, definitely picking up that neutral will help a little bit. Of course, people tend to value that second Rift Herald a little lower than the first. You can't cash in Plate Gold on second Herald because Plate Gold is no longer around by the time second Herald spawns, of course.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I think I agree with you. They're just playing a little over-aggressive without the proper vision setup to do so, as once again, Pate walking his way into the bottom lane. Toxic Koopa trying to bait this out. Atreus will find the Tongue Lash. Pate sitting in the wings, waiting for this fight to break out. Good Faith, though, sniffing it out, will just back away. Pate, though, has now finally been spotted.
I'm curious to see what ends up happening bot lane. Like, who finally wins the lane? Who gets the first tower? And it's just also the swing Tom Kench. I've never seen it before.
Locus forcing the flash out of Zork with that flag and drag, but Kilgar is in the area, looks for the abscond, will not find the abduct. Yeah, I mean, Swain Kench, it's a really safe lane, realistically.
Yeah,
you're
I've
playing
never seen it before, so that just, like, watching Swain just get devoured in his ult, and it's still going off.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Abscond abduct lands, beautiful buffer on the flag and drag. Locust Cade will force Kilgar away off of that. So Cannon Barrage was burned. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Good Faith and Sam doing fairly all right for themselves, trying to just deal damage to this turret for the time being. Of course, having that damage advantage even after a less than ideal lane phase, to say the least.
We did talk about, before we got in game, a couple things. We talked about, like, Draven builds and that kind of stuff, and I did want to mention to you that Draven, I think, is going the build that you were talking about with SM3 for Eclipse, just to make you a little excited. And then on top of that, I'll let you... Oh, no,
Yeah,
I thought that was about to be a big fight.
Oh, wait, Zork just popped. That was a lot of damage from that parlay for Ormond. Flash comes through. Beautiful eat on those oranges. Now Kilgar forcing out the flash from this Gangplank. Ormond going to be taken low. Should end up falling. Will he actually? It's close. Witch of Black Mass finding the kill, but with Pate in the area, should be able to clean this one up. Comeuppance coming through. Going to just sit under the tower. Akshan will never change.
Yeah, but what I wanted to mention earlier was that Morgana's building Leandries, like we talked, like how we were talking about how I forget Shurelia's is so much better because of that. But she's building Leandries, man.
All right, we're gonna get into this segment. I do this every time there's a Morgana on the broadcast.
What have I begun?
It's pretty tragic, as maybe we'll have to wait. Teleport coming in, Dark Binding lands. Toxic Koopa going to pop that ultimate. Ult coming through from Good Faith as well. Another teleport being followed by Ormond. Kilgar stealing away that Demonic Ascension will find the kill on to the Swain at the start of the fight. Atreus trying to just walk on out. Ormond will be eaten up by that Devour. The stand aside will just knock Atreus back a little further, and she's just gonna waddle on out of there on the Tom Kench. Kilgar just popping that Rift Herald. All right, let me get into this before I forget to. Leandry's Morgana is really, 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 really bad. It's a high econ build from a low econ roll. It does not work out well. You don't get enough kills or enough damage to make it worthwhile in most cases. In games where you are a sole AP threat, totally understand it. And Kilgar seems to be building more towards this utility / drain tank style Sylas, so not the worst thing in the world this time around, but also your team wants to run at them. Just build Shurelias. That's my opinion here. Anyway, I'll let you take this now.
So from here, it's kind of just a slow game right now. We gotta prep. We have Dragon. I don't actually see the time that's spawning in, but I do see the little icon.
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Yeah, so it does look like it's just right now the setup for Drake, just clearing, getting wards, getting vision, and it does look like Ghost has learned their lesson from last time and do plan to get as much vision as possible so they don't get absolutely demolished again and lose an opportunity on Drake, especially with Mountain being the soul. I do like that a lot, especially because if Ghosts do not take these dragons, then Eternity just gets tankier and stronger. So it's kind of very important that these are theirs now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with it being that Mountain Drake, both teams really like this.
Yeah.
You have Olaf Poppy on one side, you've got Jarvan, Kench on the other. Like, tankiness is going to be pretty helpful. Of course, Gangplank ult available for both sides. I believe Kilgar should have access to that one once more, as Kilgar's actually going to get spotted out. Flag and Drag down on to the Sylas here. Will pop that stopwatch instantly. This should just be the trade of Kilgar for the Drake. Kilgar, understanding that, will end up falling, but the Drake does crucially go over to Going Ghost here.
Don't understand the pick opportunity there, I guess, because they just kind of lose an objective that's gonna hurt them later. But they may also get tower off here, so maybe it's worth it after all.
Wall stun comes through. Locust Cade will be stunned up. Poppy gonna pop that ult as well. Dark Binding lands down on to Toxicoopa, who will be taken low additionally. That ult still going, will end up finally timing out. Which at Black Mass that pops that turbocharged chem tank. Might be looking for more, but a beautiful barrel to slow down the Poppy. Flag and Direct comes through. Locust Cade will be pushed back into good faith onto the Draven, trying to keep these axes going, trying to do the damage needed. The flash comes out and Orman finds the kill actually with that collector proc. Locust Cade will be taken solo. The flash forward from Draven. It's not going to be enough to Goredrinker proc, and finally Zork finds the kill. They were trying to gift it to good faith, but he could not find it. Finally, we'll get that cash in with the auto attack done onto Toxicoopa. Finds the kill. The flash forward from Zork will not find the undertow. And now Orman might be looking to trade this back. Finds the kill with the barrel, but here comes the cannon barrage. Kilgar finding the return trade.
Fun and also very long fight. And it does look like it pays off for both teams at the end of the day. They both died equally, I would say, roughly. They both ended up getting a tower, one more important than the other, but what I don't like seeing now, though, is Gangplank has Collector now. And I just hate that item.
Okay, so I know people hate on Collector all the time. They're like, just go LDR! Which, okay, I kind of agree with you this game.
No, I'm saying I hate Collector just because of the last hit potential. Because now Gangplank is just gonna get all the kills at this point, and also it's just such a stupid
Just wait,
item.
He's gonna build Prowler's Claw, and then
I
it becomes
know.
Throat Slasher Gangplank, and you'll if the interaction happens. Shoutouts to Rare Adam if you're here. Throat Slasher Gangplank. We'll mention it. It's really funny. Also shoutouts to Tempos Time for calling my GP Throat Slasher Gangplank in that one game that one time. Anyway, Baron on the table here. 23 minutes in. Both teams kind of sitting even, but we'll have to see. Ormond spotted out here. Sam trying to do something. Dark Binding lands. Zork also in the area, but a beautiful Cataclysm onto 3 Locusts. Finding the in, finding the mark, and the barrel comes through. Zork will be taken low, will end up falling. Witch of Black Mass will be able to trade the kill back onto Ormond. The beautiful wall stun into the axes coming through as well from good faith. And actually it's a 2 for 2, and that's going to be enough for Going Ghost to start the Baron.
The one thing I wanted to say before that fight happened was Draven doesn't have boots, but I guess it doesn't matter here because he's got to get enough money with this Baron. I don't think Eternity can realistically contest this. Like, they can try to get them off, but Good Faith is just running down Locust.
Yeah, they're just going to force the play onto the Jarvan. The flash coming out from both mid and jungle will deny a lot of potential for that Baron to continue, but it is a crucial pick. They're able to get another kill into their pockets, and you mentioned it, Draven starting to look a little better after a rough lane phase.
He still hasn't bought tier 2 boots, though.
It happens.
It's bothering me. It's 24 minutes into the game. But I do like what's happening here, honestly, because I was expecting Ghost to fall off a bit after some point, but Ghost is still in the game. Like, this is still a pretty even game. Like, I don't see this game ending for a while, if I'm being quite honest with you here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. The big thing when it comes to stalling out games is what your source of wave clear is, and when you have Swain Akshan and Gangplank. There's a decent chunk of wave clear there. All right, we're getting a little bit of ping. Yeah, so I know you guys can't see chat on stream here. Good Faith just pinged out that he had 3,400 MS, 3,600, 3,700. That's tough. It seems to actually be on both teams' ends. So, oh no, not server ping. All right, well, pauses. Yeah, I mean, Industrial. We got Drake in a minute. What do you think's about to happen here?
So if we're looking at the map of where everyone is now, I can already tell you now that going Ghost is at a disadvantage solely because Olaf Zork is all the way top lane by Baron, and everyone is at Drake. 4 of the people on Eternity are already about to go into River, and it's about to be a 3v4, and then the 5th person's gonna come, and that's Locust. And I think what's gonna happen is Eternity's about to roll and win in this fight, honestly. Because Eternity's gonna come into River with these 4 people. They're Xylus, Morgana, and Poppy are the 3 together right now. I don't think they're gonna win against these 4. Morgana's gonna get popped immediately. They may get away with taking out 1, but Draven's gonna be really late. And Olaf, I don't even think is gonna make it in time. I think Jarvan is gonna come in, Lucas is gonna come in and sweep whatever is left to clean up at this point. And I think that's what's gonna happen. And I think after that, Baron might get picked off, and then from there, maybe we'll get towers.
We'll have to see. I mean, I'm in agreement, right? Like you mentioned it, Zork is on the other side of the map. We saw this at Drake too. Zork was top lane. It was a 5v4 bot side. Good Faith walked a little too far forward, and the whole team got punished as a result. So maybe it's much the same.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that the last dragon was the one that Kilgar sacrificed his life for.
Yeah.
And that was, like, even, like, they still got it, because for some reason, Eternity went, oh, we're back in.
Yeah, well, we got the pause after the pause, so give it a sec.
Yeah.
But you know how it is.
I guess we're about to see what happens.
You know what, though? At least we're getting the pause after the pause during, like, setup. Sometimes it happens, like, mid-team fight, and you're just sitting there for 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not waiting in too much anticipation. I am super eager to see what happens, though.
I mean, eventually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at our spectator. Like, even our spectator was like, yeah, well, look, I can move, but the game's frozen. Yeah, the pause after the pause lasted like 30 seconds that time, unfortunately. But resets coming through here. Sam taking a reset for, I think it was the Oblivion Orb that was just picked up, but will not be around for this Drake. And look, all of Tenebrous Esports Eternity is in the river, in position, ready for this fight to start.
Draven is still pinging 1,500, though. So, oh, he's at 3,100 now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Of course, it looks like the side of Going Ghost is actually playing to counter this, or to look for the trade. Toxicoopa has the Vision of Empire, so could potentially spot this out. And this is one of the few benefits of this full AP Morgana, of course, has that execute damage. The Vision of Empire does spot the Baron being started, so that will force Going Ghost away. Cannon Barrage coming through as well. Good Faith taken to about 2/3 HP from just the Baron alone. And with all those globals being burned, the Dragon will be started up again. But Going Ghost, not shying away, will turn their attention back towards the Baron. Drake going to be picked up here. Second of the game now for Tenebrous Esports, as the Baron, half HP at the moment, but the rest of TEE is on the way. Down to 3K, 2K, 1K. Will it be secured? It's picked up by Going Ghost, but Toxic Koopa's in the area. Dark Binding comes through, but a beautiful Devour dodged out from the Keeper's Verdict. Locust finds the Cataclysm onto 1. Toxic Koopa finding that kill. Atreus will pick up another, as Toxic Koopa looking to keep running. The comeuppance comes through. Sam gonna get flash, flag, and dragged as well. Locust trying to find more onto Widget Black Mass, but will be able to walk away limping. It is a 3-for-0, but Going Ghost crucially secure the Baron.
But at the end of the day, only 2 people have it now, and it just was not worth it in my opinion. I think at that point, they messed it up once. They should have known that they were going to check again. I feel like that was something that they should have predicted a little bit better.
Oh, Demonic Ascension for Kilgar, trying to stay alive. More Kingslayers coming through. The double Hourglass coming through as well. Double kill, maybe a triple for Kilgar. salvaging the inhibitor. And with that Baron, it's a 3-for-0 for the Sylas. And now they're looking to push down the mid lane.
Wow is really all I have to say. Is I was a little bit disappointed in going Ghost there for a second, but now, I mean, Sylas can split push with Baron, and it looks like he's doing that right now. Poppy's going mid, and Poppy, I guess I was gonna say she because it's Poppy, my bad. But Witch is going in, and he's getting tower. Good Faith is there to help him out. It's just, this is not about to be a fun siege for ET to experience.
Yeah, beautiful 3-part coming in from Ormond as well. Love seeing those little mechanics on the Gangplank. It's really enjoyable to witness regardless, but not much on the map for a little bit. We got 3 minutes on the next Drake spawn, 4 minutes on the next Baron spawn. Of course, that mid tier 2 falling does kind of bring that gold advantage back. Of course, you get 1,500 for just securing the Baron for your team as flashes coming through from both mid laners. Pate will get tagged up regardless, but here comes the Cannon Barrage. Killguard going to be taken low. Ormond's going to flash in, get the parlay down as well. Comeuppance will be canceled out as a result. Witch of Black Mass, though, onto Ormond. Looking to do more. Keeper's Verdict comes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade there, 2-for-1 in the fight. Make it a 3-for-1. Tenebrous Esports Eternity finding the double kill for Ormond. Comeuppance coming through onto Sam, but not too much damage there. As Locust will just find the Cataclysm. Sam, not long for this world, as Zork was in the top lane, but chose to reset. And 4-for-0 now in the bottom lane. These fights keep swinging back and forth.
Jeez, that is... It just... Honestly, Zork has the true top lane mentality of I just go in lane and I just farm and I sit in that lane, and I love that. However, he needs to start playing with his team at some point, because him just being top lane the entire time and playing around topside has not done his team well. That's why they keep losing these fights. I do think if they had Zork, they'd be able to take on these team fights a lot easier and a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. These fights have been really messy all around, I would say.
They've been very messy. They've been very even. It's like 2 people can take down all 5, but then sometimes everyone just gets mobbed on. It's an absolute bloodbath, if I'm being quite frank with you. So, well, I hope that seeing Going Ghost maybe playing as a complete other, 5-man, everyone together. I'm curious to see how the 5v5 goes, because I feel like we haven't had a proper one of those in a while, honestly.
Yeah, and that looks to be the call here. Of course, Going Ghost first into the river this time around. Drake spawning in about a minute. They want to push for more vision. Pate will get tagged up here just by that Buckler, but Good Faith was taking the red buff, was taking the chickens, now in the mid lane trying to push that out. Should be able to show up to this fight momentarily. Witch of Black Mass still in the middle of it. Good Faith gonna find some decent damage down onto Locust Cade. Witch of Black Mass gonna be taken to about half HP. GP barrels rather, hurting quite a bit at the moment. And of course now, Tenebrous Esports gets access to the river. They have control over this middle of the map. Drake spawning in 30 seconds now. Atreus frontlining. Flag and drag down onto 2. Finds the Cataclysm as well. Ormond's going to find the first kill of the fight. Make it a quick second as Zork will end up falling. Double kill for the GP. Witch of Black Mass limping away, trying to stay alive. Will they be able to do so? The Comeuppance coming through as well, and Pate finds the kill. Good Faith now in no man's land, trying to find something, and Locust finds the flag and drag, finds the kill. It's a 4-for-1, and sure, Ormond falls, but now you secure yourselves the 3rd Drake of the game for your team.
It's just a very unfortunate thing. They do have such good ults that just work so well together. The Jarvan ult with the GP ult, it's not good. But honestly, I was really hoping that Killguard would come in and just absolutely do something funky.
Oh my
steal a Drake
Lord.
Or something, but
Just look at the gold, right? Like, Ormond's 15.5 thousand gold. That's 2,000 ahead of the next highest in the game. This GP is so much, it's just parlay gold, realistically. Like, the farm's pretty even. I love GP. He's so much fun to play. Highly recommend.
What a champion.
I'm a GP Sylas 2-trick in top lane, so if you ever see me top lane, ban those 2 champs, and I'm probably going to perform worse. But, yeah, love GP. Throat Slasher Gangplank. It's fun.
I think the next big thing is getting control on Baron, now that that's spawning soon, too.
Yeah, and with that, Pate, no flash available, no grapple available either. That's just going to be a dead auction. got the Scuttle Crab, sure, but at what cost? Ends up costing them their life. And now it's a 4v5 on the map for Tenebrous Esports Eternity. Now, with that said, GP does so much damage, so there was maybe an angle for them to contest this. Good Faith has to respect these barrels. Baron down to 6,000, 5,000, 4,000 now even, as Kilgar will find the Abscond Duck down onto Atreus. Cannon Barrage coming through as well. Zork going to be taking low, forced to flash out of the pit. The Baron has been secured, but it needs to be an escape plan for Going Ghost. Oh no, the Cataclysm lands on it too. The dunk for Locust Cade as Witch of Black Mass finds the Keeper's Verdict. Will end up getting the rest of the team out alive. Baron on 4, 1 for 1 in the extended fight.
The good news is less people died that time they got Baron, so that's really good. And I'm hoping that they're able to do more with it this time. I feel like this game has been a lot of fighting and going for objectives, but not turrets necessarily. Like, we do have 10 turrets down, but no one's really gone into someone's base yet, and I'm waiting for that, like, cataclysmic moment where everything just snowballs from there and one team just fully goes through. But we're not seeing that yet. Both these teams are very strong, and I'm curious to see what happens in game 2, honestly. They're very much equal.
I mean, we mentioned it during the draft as well. Once again, shoutouts to ProComps for that pregame analysis, but the late game definitely favors the team that has a team fight, right? Like, you're looking at the side of Going Ghost. They're much more pick-oriented. We've seen these fights when it's full-on 5v5. It's hairy at best for Going Ghost, and it's hairy at worst, I would say, for Tenebrous Esports Eternity. So they're looking strong. They're looking mostly dominant, but there's been a few cracks here and there for sure. You mentioned it. The only thing that's broken the base is that mid-tier 3 on Going Ghost side.
Yeah.
No inhibitor taken, all the other turrets still alive.
Yeah. And the one thing that's very interesting is honestly, I would have expected Going Ghost to fallen off a bit more at this moment, but they have yet to, like, truly fallen off, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, they're still getting Baron, they're still fighting for objectives, they're still making their comebacks after their team loses a team fight. They're still holding their own.
Oh my gosh. Kilgar gonna get flash throat slashed. Here comes throat slasher GP. Ormond finding the kill barely. Narrowly even. Ah! He forgot about the Silas. Alright. Silas ult on top of GP.
I think he thought it was his own ult, but it was Silas.
Yeah, exactly. Good Faith, though, forced the flash out of the Cataclysm. Witch of Black Mass trying to take down Atreus, who will be taking the low. Toxicuba popping the Demonic Ascension, finding the Flag and Drag onto Good Faith. Locust Cade with a hero Flag and Drag there will pick up the kill. Trying to find another, will be stopped up by that Steadfast Presence, but a big pick on the Draven in the mid lane.
Still can't get over that Ormond stepped into Kilgar's game plan goal. Wow. Honestly, that was a great funny. I enjoyed that.
I'm gonna have to clip that later. Like, that's one of those plays, like, Ormond, I don't think is too mad about it. He's probably laughing about it right now.
Oh, I hope everyone is laughing.
That's hilarious. Like,
yeah.
that's meme-y. That's gonna be memed on.
But the thing is, he truly showed the Gangplank tech. And honestly, I think it's gonna have to get banned next game. You can't let a Gangplank like this keep going.
Yeah. I mean, 10, 6, and 10 right now. I wish we had, like, damage graphs that we could pull up at the moment. Could say that's in progress. Hopefully soon, maybe. We'll figure it out at a later point. But this GP is doing so much work right now, as the Flag and Drag will be stopped out once more by the Steadfast Presence. Cataclysm lands onto 2. Atreus going to dive in as well. Sam going to pop that ult, pop into the stasis, but Kilgar has a Swain R. It is time for Silas to look to do his thing, trying to just stay alive, trying to take down Ormond, finds the kill. Kilgar with a huge pick. The comeuppance in the backside will find another. Kilgar trying to take down Atreus, will be able to do so. Double kill now for this Silas, with that Swain ult still active for both, but Zork trying to do something will end up falling. Kilgar will find the Abscond Duck down onto Pate. It might just be enough. The kill comes through. Maybe the Abscond Duck now onto Swain. Toxicuba. Oh my gosh, the Swain are still running with the res. Pate finds the kill, finds the res for the whole team, and finds that crucial soul, maybe, but Witch of Black Mass is here, might find the kill on the Toxicuba. Blue Smite coming through, finds the kill, and now Witch of Black Mass falls. Another res for the Swain. Oh my lord. That's gonna be Mountain Soul.
Basically, I understand what Witch did there. I understand the like, just going in, trying to get one. But the 50-second cooldown timer to respawn is not gonna be good here. Kilgar doesn't respawn for another 20, Witch has 30, Zork is coming up soon, but a lot is about to get sieged on Going Ghost space here.
Yeah, Inhibitor does end up falling. It does look like, woo, Tenebrous Esports Eternity are going to back away. So, should just be that one Inhibitor. Good Faith. No axe available either. We'll just have to walk off. Yeah, I mean, we saw the power of Akshan a little bit there too. Those like 3 reses over the course of 10, 15 seconds. That's not weak, to say the least.
He rezzed his whole team. Like, every time someone died, he just brought them back to life.
Worth noting, that like never happens with Akshan, by the way. Normally it's like, maybe you get a res on one person, but because you're the last one alive, you die, and then the rest of your team is like, I guess, just also dead. But
the thing is Pete is playing with his team.
Oh, we're actually going to get a fight. Locust Cade looks for the flag and drag. Zork, of course, in that Ragnarok will be able to stay alive. Witch of Black Mask, though, trying to do work. Kilgar teleported into the backside, but now is in the middle of 5. Will be tagged up by that Cataclysm. Pops into the stopwatch, or rather the Hourglass here. Beautiful dive comes through. Kilgar finds the GP ult as well, and actually Fate is going to fall. Flag and drag comes through, but Good Faith is in the middle of the whole team. Zork trying to do something, finds the kill on the Orman, but now it's Sam versus Toxic Koopa and Locust. Zork is here as well, but will not be able to do enough. Just so much damage coming through from Toxic Koopa. Staying alive, will find the kill. It's a 3 for 4 in favor of Tenebrous Esports Eternity. Vision of Empire will find it as well, make it an ace. Beautiful W coming out from Toxic Koopa as they're going to look to close this one out.
That phenomenal game, honestly. There was so much that happened that game that was just so fun and fantastic to watch. I'm wondering if Game 2 will also go on for 40 minutes, quite frankly.
What an absolute barn burner of a first game of this best of 3. No better way to open the Zero Gravity Gaming summer/fall 2022 split. I forget what we're calling this, but the Nexus does end up falling. Game 1 going over to Tenebrous Esports Eternity. And in pretty shocking fashion, realistically. Like, it was close. A lot closer for Going Ghost, rather, than I think we were both kind of expecting as that game went later.
Yeah, wow. I mean, we kind of knew who was going to win based off of team comps, but for Going Ghost to hold their own for so long and just keep going, keep pushing through, even though they had the pick comp, that was pretty amazing. Like, I'm excited to see what Game 2 has to, like, show. I'm wondering if, like, the team comps will kind of change instead of doing, like, maybe, like, a pick comp. Like, Going Ghost will change it up a bit. I'm curious to see what happens. This is just very, wow! Like, holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. I want to see a little more team fight focus instead of that single target we were seeing coming out from Going Ghost, because as the game gets later, team fighting, that Drain Tank style, I mean, Toxic Koopa did the most damage in the game. It was by like 2,000 on the next highest in the game. 41,500 damage in a 40-minute game. That's more than 1,000 damage a minute. That's ridiculous. And just wasn't taking damage. Was healing through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think has to change going into game number 2 for Going Ghost here?
I do agree their team comp needs to change and focus a little bit more on that late game, like working together kind of style. I do think, like, League of Legends, it's a 5-player game for a reason. You need to work with your teammates. You got to make it work. You just got to cooperate and plan things out. And I do think that the reason that they, like, their ults, it was good only when Silas was able to take, like, Gangplank and Swain ult, because those were team fighting ults. And that was the only time they ever really won team fights. I was noticing that towards the end. And I think realistically, if they actually had those team fighting ults of their own that they didn't have to steal, it would have gone so much better.
Yeah.
I do think if they do have more of a team fighting time kind of team comp, maybe Morgana, but with like Shirelia's or someone else, and just work together based off of that. But then again, we did see champions like Fiddlesticks getting banned, and that's something that our jungler likes on Going Ghost, so...
Yeah, I mean, we will have to see what happens here. Game number 2 gonna come up right after a short break. Can Going Ghost bring the series to game number 3, or will Tenebrous Esports Eternity give us a quick, easy early night, take the 2-0 victory? William will be with you for that game number 2 of the series right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the start of game number 2. I'm out of breath. That game 1, oh my gosh. Uh, bloodbath, I think, is putting it lightly, to say the least.
Yeah.
Fight non-stop. MXL here alongside Industrial, and oh, I don't even know where to begin. Game 1 went to TEE.
But everyone did phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, both sides were playing well, realistically. We talked about it. It came down to that draft. We mentioned it as well. Before game, in game, out of game. They just didn't have that late game scaling, right? And
Yeah.
GP is kind of a menace in the late game, and Ormond is probably not going to get that champ back. So we'll have to see what happens, as we should be getting into the pick ban here for game number 2 shortly. I want to see some changes. Notably, maybe we're not triple banning out the jungler and just putting him on Jarvan. Let's just get rid of GP. No GP. No Swain.
Oh, we're getting the 2 usual bans. No Fiddlesticks, no Volibear.
Yeah.
Oh, no Aatrox. So we're getting the bans that we got.
Not a salty run back.
Oh.
All
Are
right.
we not going to see any bans based off of what happened last game?
This could be weird.
They banned the same 3 champs as Eternity did.
Yeah, and it's gonna be the same coming out from Going Ghost as well. So I believe it was Swain first pick last time for Tenebrous Esports. Maybe they do the same again?
I'm a little... Oh my god, they do.
Okay.
Are we just running the same team comps back? Rematch? Everyone does the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, Sam literally in the client chat just says run it back. I think we're getting the Silas matchup once more. Again, if Rare Adam's still here, shoutouts to Silas support as a potential discussion into this Wayne 80 carry. I don't think it's great, but Adam pops off on it every time we do it, so who am I to judge it, right? Silas locked in. Yeah, this is a salty run back. What was it? Was Silas Draven were the first 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually lose my marbles if it's Draven next. I'm gonna absolutely lose my marbles.
This is the definition of a salty run back. Oh no!
Oh my god, they're gonna run it back. They're genuinely gonna run it back. I swear to God, if Going Ghost, oh my god, they're running it back. There's no way they aren't.
This is the world's saltiest run back. Swain, Kench, Jarvan. Yep, this all checks out. Poppy. Yep, this is.
We're even going in order.
All right. Well, on the plus side, Gangplank is banned. One
Oh,
champion will be different in this game.
No, I don't like that. They should have just made everything the same. They should have made everything the same again. Come on, Going Ghost, be better. Yeah, even Ormond is saying what's going on. Ormond's upset. I'm upset. We're all upset.
Wow. I'm going to just give some quick updates from around the league, just from people who have updated me on some other games happening at the moment. Sentinels take game number 1 over RAR. Pretty dominating fashion from the looks of it. I take that back. It was a 45-minute game. I believe also, I just had it open. I will double check this before I start spewing false information. But NSG Amethyst take game number 1 off of Off the Za as well. So some other results across the league if you were wanting to keep up on any of that. Of course, back to the game at hand. You mentioned it. No GP, no Darius, no Misfortune, no Olaf. So both top laners playing something new.
I think we'll see everything else being the same, though, quite frankly.
Morgana time?
I think
Please
it's
no.
Morgana time. I think it's Morgana time, but I think that this time the Morgana should go Shreddiz. You just have to.
I think you know you're playing into Kench. Okay, you should probably just be picking like a... This is a hot take and people hate me for saying this. Kench gets dumpstered by Blitzcrank and Pike. Those 2 picks here would be absolutely insane. Morgana, Akshan, guys.
Guys, please.
This is so salty. This is genuine. I don't know what to say.
Honestly, I'm a little speechless. I'm curious to see who the top lane picks would be. Lilia. Lilia is very good with them. I will say this now. I truly believe that. I think Lilia is going to melt through this game. Lilia's about to have the time of her life.
Is this Lilia top? I really like Lilia top.
I really like Lilia top, but you know what I don't like? Kled top.
Ooh. That's a weird matchup. I'm interested to see it. We'll have to see. Of course, Pro Comps right now is telling us Jarvan's going top lane, Lilia's going jungle. If that changes during the draft, we'll just change that, of course. But currently also debugging some other things, so apologies on that end. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, both teams look fairly strong in the late game, and ProComps kind of agrees with this as well. You end up, though, having a very similar kind of game style graph to what we saw last time around. You've got this more engage/peel style coming out from the side of Tenebrous Esports, and it looks like Going Ghost once again opting into that pick potential. This time around, though, I would argue they're engaged a little bit better than what Pro Comps is showing us. You do have that charge available to you. There's always the potential as well of, you know, maybe stealing away some other ults that can come through. Lilting Lullaby is really, really strong. There's some fun options that can come through, but Industrial, what are your thoughts right now on these two compositions?
I was waiting for you to ask. I'm so excited to see what happens top lane. Solely because this is the only thing that's gonna change. I genuinely think. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, Going Ghost knows how to, like, what this comp is gonna do. But I think the slight Lilia change is honestly gonna be pretty good. I think Lilia is, while, yeah, Gangplank is good with a good Jarvan, like, Jarvan ults, Gangplank ults on top of that, it's great. But I think Lilia putting all of them to sleep is gonna be even better, honestly. And the thing is, though, is Kled is a champion, and recently I've been seeing him appear more and more throughout League of Legends again. And, see, the unfortunate thing about Kled is that this guy will tower dive you on, like, 5% health, and then go back up to 90 while tower diving you, because he just gets Scarl back. So, I am a little bit worried, because I do think this Lilia has potential to do really well, and I think Eternity could honestly... I think Eternity is going to win again, just because they have such a good teamfight comp still. But I think the Lilia is going to make it... I think the Lilia will make it better, but seeing as it's Kled, like, if she can't get strong, then I don't think it's going to go as well for Eternity as it could be. It's not going to be as smooth of a ride. And it is Lilia top, in fact. We see it locked in now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see that. Of course, in Pro Comps, we can just click and drag the things around, so it should be able to help up. With that in mind, I mean, the two comps generally are still going to be doing the same thing. I would argue Lilia a little more of a lane bully than Jarvan in the top side, but I want to draw your attention once more to this level 1 potential. We talked about it last game. Going Ghost had a really strong look at that level 1. Face checked someone, went bad. This time around, both teams, I would argue, still really strong at the level 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think Going Ghost will invade again, but this time I think they're going to do it right. They're going to win. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to see what's going to occur one way or the other. Of course, it's a little more spicy of a game. It's always a fun time when we see Kled in a game of League of Legends, because you never really know. This champ is very feast or famine, but he is always about going balls to the wall, staying in fights, just trying to do ridiculous Kled things, basically.
Kled is a champion in League of Legends. That's really all I ever have to say about him, if I'm being quite honest with you. Kled is just, wow. The fact that he can just get all that health back is really insane to me, and I don't like it at all. And it just really bothers me. But realistically, when it comes to these comps, I do think Going Ghost, like, at the end of the day, it's just a repeat of last time. And I think Going Ghost, the only thing that they can do is just play better. Like, they don't have the team comp to win, but they have, like, they now know how Pate plays Action. They now know how Lotus is gonna play Jarvan. They know how everyone, like Koopa and I can't see the name. So,
Atreus.
Atreus, sorry, Atreus. I thought it was, I lost it for a second. But Atreus, like, they know how they play now, so they have that chance, but at the same time, they all know how Going Ghost is gonna play too, so I don't know what's gonna happen. This is like the one thing that I'm very curious about, is that at the end of the day, while top lane will be the most interesting lane to watch solely because it's a different matchup than we saw last time, these other lanes are going to be interesting too, because are they going to go the same way as last time? Maybe. I mean, they're each on the same side that they were before from last game as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an exciting game once more. I mean, we saw it with the same core four from each side last time around, a 40-minute slugfest, again, to put it lightly. This time around, will it be much the same? Some more team fighty based top laners with that Lilia, with the Kled. Interesting to see how this will play out. Going Ghost looking to take us to a third game on the night. TE Eternity looking to close it out in 2-0 fashion. We'll find out who takes game number 2 right after this break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We've got game number 2 on our hands. Should be popping right on into that in a second. You're looking at cameras right now, so now we're in game. Once again, the level 1 5-stack coming through for Tenebrous Esports Eternity.
I
Going
don't think
Ghost,
it'll be.
intelligently not falling for it again.
I think they should have, quite frankly. I think they should have played with their balls out, but they didn't. That was really bad, wasn't it?
There's a Kled in the game. I mean, we're gonna say things like that constantly, right? Like, Kled is the balls to the wall champ, right?
Yeah.
So
Clegg goes burr with his ult, so. But
yeah,
it
I
does
mean,
look like no invade this time.
thankfully, I would argue as well. But I'm very excited. Of course, my 2 favorite champs in this game are in this game. So I play a lot of Morgana. I play a lot of Lilia. Specifically, Lilia top is really, really, really fun. You can bully out a lot of melee mid laners, top laners actually. The issue she has is against things that can reliably get on top of her, which Kled can do fairly well actually. So I'm very interested to see how well Zork is able to pilot this pick. Because if he's able to do well, if he's able to land those bear traps on a rope, it's gonna do a lot. It's gonna be a pretty hard lane for Ormond, I would say.
The one thing that what's going on down here? Oh, nothing. The one thing that I do think is very fun though is that Going Ghost already boarded chickens on Locust's side, so they know where Locust is going right now, or they have at least a little idea of what's going on. So I'm curious to see if that plays an advantage at all for them later on.
Yeah.
But as we just go through, everyone's CS and everyone's farming. I don't think we'll see anything big yet. I do think we'll have to wait until level 3, at least on a good amount of people's sides. However, Ormond already has to pop one of the health pots, which is a little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the strength of the Kled in this matchup. If you're able to get on top of Lilia, she really struggles. She doesn't have mobility outside of that move speed, so if you're able to slow her down, if you're able to reliably keep her within your range, bear trap on a rope, doing fairly well at that. And of course, her passive kind of healing her, but also Conqueror healing her. Bear trap on a rope gives a lot of Grievous.
I do see the difference in playstyle now between everyone on their teams. I can see that Kilgar is definitely playing a little bit more safer than he did before.
Yeah, the charge comes in. Ormond's going to just flash, use that Watch Out Eep to try and get away, but Zork will have Skarl dismounted, so trying to just get back onto that mount, but Zork will be taken so low. Finds Skarl again, actually! Lives on a sliver of health in first blood to the Kled. Oh, I cannot wait for these charges later.
What did I say? What did I talk about with Kled? Huh? I knew this was gonna happen. Balls to the walls it. But it does look like there will hopefully be something going on mid lane now too. Looks like Witch is going in for that gank there now, actually.
Yeah, Flash coming through as well, but the Steadfast Presence just not quite in range. Of course, pretty strong ability when it comes against things that dash. So, makes sense to see that burn. Does force the Flash out of Pate as well, so still a decent gank, even though we didn't see it.
Yeah. And it does look like both scuttles are taken. No double scuttles today. Oh, Locust is invading now. Good for Locust. I do like the invade there though, because we didn't see that last game. So I just feel like a lot of these guys, you know, this is what did you call it? The salty run.
The salty run back. Yeah, it's a salty run back. It's
Yeah,
literally 4 of the 5
think,
champs.
Especially with Locust getting triple banned once more, I feel like Locust has every right to invade, honestly. And on top of that, Locust is just... You know, we saw how well he did on the Jarvan, and I think he's gonna do well again, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Normally, Jarvan's one of those champs that really wants to make plays early, look for fights at those level 2, level 3, level 6 marks, basically. But last game, Locust played more towards that later stage, and still was finding really, really good engages, really, really good fights. Flag and Drags onto 2, onto 3, Cataclysms onto 2, onto 3. It looked really, really, really good for this player. So very excited to see how that's going to pan out as Zork finds another dash in. Ormond will be taken to about half HP, and Kled with a lead. What a glorious champ.
Kled I feel like he is the definition of League of Legends. Because League of Legends, I feel like in 2022 is all about mobility and dashes and just running people down, and I think Kled does that the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna be interesting.
That guy, honestly.
He is that guy, pal. He is.
Yeah.
But we'll have to. I'm cringing at myself. I'm so sorry. We'll have to see though. Fun. Of course, I think the big issue last time around, you mentioned it, was that lack of team fighting ultimates, and while only adding one new champ to your team isn't the best in that regard, Kled is that kind of run-at-you button. Things like Sivir tend to be, or even something like the Shirelias can be. So really excited to see this picked, and maybe shore up that team fight issue. And with that flash, Atreus burns, Toxicuba gets hit by that Dark Binding, will just be able to walk out of this one. Never Move not going to land, actually. Good Faith taken kind of low. Zork, though, level 6, popping the charge, will look for it. Lilting Lullaby comes through. Ormond going to be taken low, but there it is. The Q coming out from the unmounted Kled.
No. I don't think you realize how OP Kled as a champion is just now. Because what just happened there, was Ormond popped ult, but Zork dismounted right as the sleep came. So he just got out of it scot-free.
Yeah. No, that's Kled, yeah. He also can reset his own tower dives. It's really funny.
I didn't realize he was like that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I knew he was that guy, but not like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on some of those fun Kled interactions that can come through. Of course, Zork gonna get tagged up by this Cataclysm. I don't think Locust Cade actually wants this, though. Pocket Pistol is available for Zork. Will not have Skarl for a little bit, so Cataclysm for nothing, realistically, in the top side, and that is a massive advantage going over to Going Ghost right now.
That's just, wow. That was, we're already seeing the changes happening with just one person. Like, one little change in the team comp, and we're already seeing such a big difference for Going Ghost here.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just happening in that role as well. Like, it's a stark difference, I would say. Ormond not just bullying on the GP, and Zork kind of having a field day right now with the Lilia, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's already got full boots, he's got the Iron Spike Whip, and realistically, he's the only guy that has kills in this game. We've watched Witch try to gank mid multiple times now, and Paige just keeps getting away. I think it's time to try a different lane at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see that. Jousting is what that ability is called. I still don't know how you're ever going to work that in, but does not land. If you are able to land the first one, the second one is untargeted and really free, and it's really, really fun to watch a Kled dash twice at you and just stick. But for the time being, Ocean Drake is available for either side. Witch at Black Mass looking in the bottom side. Bear Trap on a rope is going to land. Cancel out that Watch Out Eep in the top side as well. Zork going to take Ormond down to about half HP. We'll just walk away. That passive doing a decent amount of damage in return.
Oh.
Wow.
See another flash in the mid lane.
Yeah, Zork dismounts in the top side as well. Ormond might be looking for something spicy here. Of course, you mentioned it. If this is a connected sleep, Zork, though, will actually force the flash out of Ormond once more. Does have the charge available. Will be looking for it.
Oh.
This is so greedy, but will be able to find the kill under the tower. Locust Cade is here, but not in time. And Kled is going to waltz on out of there. 3-0 now for Zork. A big turnaround performance in game number 2. Cataclysm, it's not over yet, as Zork is going to get Cataclysm red smited, stuck in the wall, will finally fall. Locust Cade able to pick that one up at the end of it.
I think Locust Cade really needed that, honestly. I do think we were talking about how Jarvan needed that early money, that early prio, that early just, like, presence in the game, I guess is the best way to put it. And I do think shutting down Zork after Zork killing Ormond 3 times in the top lane will help that a lot. And we're already seeing it. Locust is so far ahead in CS, and we're just kind of seeing that presence that Locust can have as a jungler, even though he is normally a top laner and he got banned 3 times in an off roll.
Like, I get that. It feels bad, but also kind of understand it. Pate,
it's
though,
a necessary evil.
That could have been a good angle. Could have been fun to see something happen there in the mid lane. Never move, not gonna land. Good Faith just clearing out the wave in the bottom side. Yeah, I mean,
Good Faith is doing a lot better here than after what happened last game. I mean, Good Faith is up ahead
right as you say that, Never Move gonna land. Toxic Koopa gonna get exhausted up. Will pop that Demonic Ascension, flashing in, finding the exhaust as well, but Toxic Koopa might just have stayed a little too long. Good Faith, though, doesn't have the mana for those Whirling Axes. Oof. If that could have come through, Whirling Death does a decent amount of damage. Could have been a pretty big kill, but of course, no mana. Unfortunate. A lot of summoners burned bot lane, but no gold traded.
Yeah, but you do see that presence that Draven now can have as a champion of being like, I am here and I am Draven. He's up 20 CS. He's kind of asserting his ground. He was able to survive that fight. He is here. He is Draven, and 250 stacks of adoration. Yeah. He's doing great.
I was just about to check in on that myself as well. Currently sitting at 255 stacks. Again, worth noting, his passive gives him 2.5 additional gold per stack. So if he cashes in a kill right now, that is 500 extra gold on top of the 400 he's already going to be getting. Flag and Drag goes wide in the mid side. Kilgar going to be safely under tower here. As actually goes back in, Cataclysm going to be popped. The flash as well. Locust Cade will just drop the walls and walk away. Ignite was burned in that skirmish as well. But I think Kilgar's okay with how that played out.
Honestly, I do wish Kilgar stayed in there, the Jarvan ult, a little bit longer, because I do think Sam would have been able to get him out in time. I do wish we saw that, but it's okay. It happens. I am wondering, though, do you see what the next upcoming Drake is? Because I can't see it.
So if the thing shows that it's not, if it has no icon, it's a Hextech Drake. That's okay. Just how it works. Like,
yeah.
This was the issue with Chemtech as well when that was still in the game.
Oh
may it rest in peace. But
no, may it rest in hell.
Okay, I liked Chemtech Drake. Anyway,
I liked Chemtech, but only to a certain point.
No, that's fair.
There was a point where it got,
but
like, I enjoyed it until I didn't.
For both Drakes, they never put icons into the game, so in the spec client, it just like doesn't show. Or sometimes it'll show this first Drake again, and it's really inconsistent. So, first Drake was Ocean, as you guys can see on the screen. You also see Ocean Drake is spawning in a minute and a half. That's literally not possible by the rules of the game, so that will just be Hextech Drake. That's all that means. Gets really funny when Hextech's stole, but you know, you see like 7 Ocean Drakes in a row. Yeah. Fun.
I was kind of rooting for Hextech Soul, though. I wanted to see the portals, like you mentioned earlier. I was rooting for that.
So there's just so many fun Hexgate plays, right? Like you can 5-man int with a Hexgate. It's so fun. It's honestly so enjoyable. Rift Herald summoned here mid. Pate might be looking for something a little aggressive on a Kilgar. Will not find it. Herald gets the charge, but only gets half the turret. Not the best use, and right after plates fall too. That's really unfortunate.
I understood why they had to pop it for plates, but realistically, they could have waited a little bit to try to at least push the wave, because they could have gotten so much more out of that, but Pate just absolutely demolished that Scuttle before, or not Scuttle, Jesus, I can't think of the name of it.
Rift Herald?
Yes. He just absolutely demolished.
It's been a long day.
It barely even hit power. It has been a long day. I worked 3 jobs today. This is my 3rd now, so.
It's been a long game 1, honestly.
Yeah.
Like even just that alone, let alone anything else today.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I am liking here is that Going Ghost has a lot of vision. Just absolutely everywhere. Like, obviously, they have some spots that they need to clear out of wards on their own side, but they are on, like, maximum control for River.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there goes Hextech Drake.
Yeah.
Without a fight.
Once again, will be the Mountain Soul as well. Worth noting, both teams get a Drake out of the first 2. So it's another surprisingly even early game this time around. Of course, once again, Pro Comps giving us that insight that the early game seemed to be a little more favoring going Ghost, the mid game more over towards Tenebrous Esports, and that late game going to be dead even between these two teams. So really excited to see how this is going to play out. As we do approach that mid game right now, this is kind of where we're expecting to see Tenebrous Esports really pop off.
I am excited to see who gets first tower, though. I'm also curious about where it's going to be, because mid tower on going Ghost side is a little low right now, but I don't think that'll be the first tower to go, if I'm being quite honest here. But
yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Akshan normally is more of a roaming champ anyway, so might not look to secure that, might just look to, get something in the bot lane, shut this Draven down, because, again, the champ's now sitting at 350 stacks, so that is 700 gold.
basically
still more
an
than
entire
700.
shutdown
Like
gold.
800.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
Like
that
875 or something. It's ridiculous. It's so much gold. You get a free pickaxe for a kill. That's insane.
And he's already ahead by 20 CS too. So.
Oh, but Pei gonna get tagged up here. The flash comes through on to that E as well, but Pei should be able to walk out of this one. Does have that comeuppance, but nobody quite low. Witch of Black Mass did also use that Keeper's Verdict, so no access to the hammer to keep that CC chain going.
Wow. Pei has lived how many ganks now?
Too many.
Too many. And I think at this point, I appreciate the effort by Witch to just keep going mid, but Witch does not have the presence that he had the game prior where he was 6-1. And realistically, he just needs to go a new lane. He needs to try somewhere else. Mid lane just hasn't worked for so long, and if he wants to establish his presence, then... And he's losing out on CS too. Like, you can see the CS difference between Jarvan and Poppy, and it's not looking pretty, honestly.
Oh, the flash comes through from Kilgar, actually, knowing that there's no flash for Pei, and will find the solo kill. Ignite was popped there as well by Pate, but Kilgar finding that solo kill. Flag and Direct comes through, the flash cataclysm as well, but Kilgar staying alive through it all. Locust Cade will be devoured up here. Zork going to go back in, no charge available, but the exhaust coming down onto the Kled. Witch of Black Mass is here as well. Sleep down onto 2. Sam is in the area, but there doesn't look to be more. Good Faith, though, in a flank in a weird spot, has to flash away, and Sam will end up falling for their troubles for Good Faith's missteps. And now Zork going to be taken low, will not be able to find that remount in time, will end up falling. Never moved down onto 2, and Draven will end up going down, losing out on so many stacks from that, and it's an ace here at the 18-minute mark for Tenebrous Esports Eternity.
Wowza, man. That... It was just such an unfortunate series of events there, honestly, too, and...
Oh my gosh. Toxic Koopa gonna get that ult stolen away. Kilgar doing a decent amount of work here. It's gonna duck lands onto Atreus, who will pop that gray health shield, and should end up falling here in a second regardless. Similar to game number 1, Kilgar finding a return trade on an overextension coming out from TEE.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, they ended up getting 2 turrets off of that. They got the tier 1 and the tier 2, and they aced. It was just such an unfortunate series of events because Orman just came in, leaped the 2 heavy hitters.
Oh, wow. Flash coming out from Zork. Pate is going to be taken low, but the Flag and Direct comes down. The Cataclysm will find the dunk down as well, but Pate trying to get out will not be able to find the out with that E again, and Zork almost back to Skarl, has that pocket pistol available, will not find the mark. And Witch of Black Mass in the area. Jarvan just walking away, trying to stay alive for now.
That, man, it does look like Dragon is coming up too in the next like 30 seconds or so, so I am excited to see what happens here, because realistically, some people are going ghosting to back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, of course. Once again, worth noting, Good Faith lost out on so many of those stacks from that death. Currently now sitting at only 105, so we'll have to see if he's able to cash in on that. Now would only be worth about 250 gold, as we see that Abyssal Dive come in. Atreus not going to find it onto Zork, who is able to use that jousting to get out.
And I mean, you're just absolutely seeing the presence that Lucas has on this map as Jarvan. It's just... I don't know how this dragon fight is going to go, honestly. I mean, they're... I'm a little curious.
Yeah, this looks a little familiar. Kilgar push in the mid lane. We do see that comeuppance come through, but this time around, Going Ghost is responding, trying to help their mid laner get out, but they are currently on a ward. Darkbinding going to land onto Atreus. She should be able to walk this off, but the Flag and Drag lands down onto Good Faith. He's caught way out of position, finds the interrupt with that stand aside, but will not be enough. The sleep down onto 2 in the backside from Ormond as well. Keeper's Verdict knocking that Lilia on out, but that is going to be Drake number 2 for the side of Tenebrous Esports Eternity.
I think, honestly, we're going to see the 2-0 here at the end of the day. I think while Going Ghost will have a good fight and keep trying to fight back, I don't know if they're going to be able to come back from this again, honestly. I mean, even the Ormond got absolutely dumpstered in the early lane, but when it comes to team fighting, he's showing his worth right now.
Yeah, I mean, 0-3-0.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's where this Lilia started. It was not remotely pretty. But turned it back around. 2-3-3 now. So having gone 2-0-3 in the last 6 minutes or so. Pretty good look coming out from Ormond. And, you know, playing that kind of carry GP style last game. Right now, looking strong on the Lilia in these mid-game team fights. Of course, there's still a full season to go, but I'm very excited to see the depth of this player's champion pool. Because Lilia top is not something that a lot of people practice. It shows you got a little bit of a deep pool normally.
Yeah, I do play Lilia top though, but that's also because I don't like any of the top laners, if I'm being quite honest with you.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to raise you things like Karma and Lulu top, which is my degenerative.
I play Karma top, and people call me foul for it. I had to stop.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Because I don't care. I went against a Garen, and I just ruined that Garen's day.
Yeah.
It was really sad.
I played Lulu top into Riven, and then I had to apologize to the Riven after the game ended because I just felt disgusting.
Yeah, it's because you just go, like, I go take Karma top. I just build a Spirit Visage and call it a day. Sometimes I'll go Frostfire, but if I'm really crazy with it, I'll go Ludens. I have no shame, man. I love Karma. That is my favorite champ right now.
Well, speaking of Morgana counters, missing Dark Binding is a pretty good counter to Morgana. Not quite able to find that mark is Sam, unfortunately, and Toxic Koopa able to walk out as a result.
And honestly, looking at this Morgana's build, I'm just a little bit upset.
Oh, Flag and Drag comes in, Cataclysm down onto 2, Witch of Black Mass just charges Locust Cade out while keeping himself in. But Toxic Koopa trying to find more. Witch of Black Mass should be able to run out. Actually, Pate, by the way, is in the area, gonna be exhausted. Up has the come up, does not have the comeuppance, rather. I misread the indicator. So will end up just being the exhaust and a few flashes.
That was very interesting, but what I did want to mention is the fact that I don't know what Morgana's building for a mythic yet, but I do like the idea of the Hourglass first.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a fan of that over the Leandries we saw last game, but with Baron being started up here, Sam, maybe with the hero binding, will not be able to find a Kilgar's here with the Swain ult, though, on this Silas. Has been exhausted up. The sleep coming through as well. Pops into the stasis from that Hourglass. Adrian's going to be knocked back into that Swain ult again, and Zork is here. Has popped the charge. Flag and Drag not going to find its mark. Toxic Koopa should end up falling. Kilgar will be able to find that kill. Good Faith flashes into the middle of 3 of them, trying to just find something to cash in, and finally finds his first kill of the game onto Atreus. The Kench has been benched, and it's a 2-for-0, but the Baron goes over to TE Eternity as the Flash Cataclysm comes in as well. Locust Cade finds a 2-kill trade back in. Flag and Drag will go wide. Zork looking for the remount, will flash forward. We now see the Black Shield coming through as well. Kilgar going to find a kill down onto Locust Cade. Pate going to be taken low. Ormond still very healthy, but now it is an extended 3-for-2 in favor of Going Ghost, but Baron to TE Eternity.
Honestly, this is now becoming the part where it's just like a repeat of last game. And here's what's going to happen, is it's going to be a back and forth between Silas and Jarvan, and this is going to go on for the next at least 20 minutes. I can already tell you. I am a little bit curious to see what happens, though, later on. I mean, Silas is now 5-1, and he got a really nasty shutdown on that Jarvan, and I don't want to know what he's going to build with that money that he's about to clock in on.
I mean,
he also has 9 Dark Seal stacks.
Yeah.
And he could get a Medjai's, technically, if he was really crazy with it.
I would hate to see Medjai's this game. I think Silas is not looking to you know, kind of be that AP carry threat. I think he's looking more for that Drain Tank style, and if you end up building into that Medjai's, you are very susceptible to losing those stacks very, very quickly. I'm assuming with this Aether Wisp, it's going to be building into a Cosmic Drive. It gives you a lot more cooldown reduction. It gives you a decent amount of AP as well, so you're just able to do a lot of work. Jousting coming in the top side. Another Bear Trap on a rope, canceling out that Watch Out Eep from Ormond. Vision of Empire will dissuade any further fighting, as Zork actually might even get dismounted here. Q not going to land from Lilia.
It looks like we're about to see a fight bot side, though, towards Dragon. I mean, both top laners have TP up as well.
Yeah, we should potentially see a fight breaking out here. Silas just reset and didn't spend 2k, so actually sitting on 2,000 gold at the moment, so I don't think they realistically want to be fighting this. Maybe look for a Whirling Death to steal the Drake. Will not be able to find it. Third Drake going over to TE Eternity. Yeah, if we could pull up the current player gold, so you'll see that, you know, not the overlay one, the in-client one, the regular default one. Yeah, that one. Silas has a lot of gold and just hasn't spent it, and I don't really know what this is about, because he did reset. Like, we saw him in Fountain, just has not been spending gold.
He's collecting money. He's saving up. He's about to buy a full item.
Yeah, but like you don't gain interest.
Yeah, I know. It's so sad. You should be.
I don't know about that. That sounds bad, but
oh man, I mean, the closest you have is futures market.
Yeah, and then that puts you in debt, and you lose 50 gold every time you're in debt. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's still pretty good. Like, it allows you to hit earlier spikes. It just comes at a 50 gold sink, but you know.
Yeah, but I'm curious. I don't know what's gonna happen next time, being honest. I mean, everyone's just kind of setting up. They're just farming, getting their items that they need. I kind of do want to look at items now, though. I don't see anything too out of the blue. I do. This Morgana build is confusing me a little bit, though. I'm not gonna lie here. Morgana's got the Oblivion Orb, the Negatron Cloak, the Hourglass, not completed boots, by the way, and I just don't know what's gonna happen.
Remount coming in the top side will force out that Lilting Lullaby as well. Charge coming through for Zork. Kilgar's in the area as well. Ormond, though, so fast on the Lilia. The Jousting comes through, and the Bear Trap on a rope lands as a result. Goredrinker going to come through as well. Kilgar trying to chase this down, but Toxic Koopa's in the area. Finds the Vision of Empire. Zork is dismounted. No Skarl available for a while now at this point. Hagstrinker going to be popped as well. Kilgar diving back in, looking for more. The Exhaust coming through as well. Black Shield down. Pops that Hourglass as well. So now here comes the Vision of Empire. Kilgar flashes in, trying to just sustain through the fight. One Swain has fallen, and it's not the one that is the actual Swain. It's the fake one. Kilgar going to go down in this fight. Zork following shortly after. And Sam, not long for this world, going to be thrown to the wolves just for Witch of Black Mass to escape. It's a 3-for-0 in the top lane as TE Eternity turning this game on its head.
Yeah. Man. This is just... Lilia is a champion, man.
I love
wow.
Lilia. She's so fun.
League of Mobility. I forgot how fast Lilia can go if you play her really well. And that's just another tier 2 down for TE. I mean, they're just, like, slowly pushing through this game. And obviously, I think we'll still go on for at least another 10 minutes, but honestly, it's just a slow push towards the end. I think TE is going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, we will have to see. Of course, we saw this in game number 1 as well. Going Ghost not quite giving up, having so much fight left in them. And you see, even after all this fighting, all these bloodbaths, somehow Locust Cade is still just, like, most gold in the game. Farming fairly well on the Jarvan, sure, but that's like... How does Jarvan have the most gold? And why does he not have a shutdown with the most gold? Why is it... whatever. It's fine.
Oh, he died earlier.
Sure. Abyssal Dive comes through from Atreus onto Sam, who's going to pop those Soul Shackles. Try to stay alive. Will pop the Hourglass as well. making sure that that sticks, but Witch of Black Mass is also going to fall for it. Kilgar looking for more, has the Swain ult once more, might be looking to try and extend this fight, will be taken to sleep, pops that stopwatch right after. Toxic Koopa, though, going to be taking low, charge comes through. Kilgar trying to do work, trying to stay alive, trying to out-drain tank the Swain, and it's not quite working. Good Faith also going to be taken extremely low. Vision of Empire not going to land, but it does not matter. It's a third kill in the extended fight, and that should just be the Baron here, started up for TE Eternity.
That was a really good fight.
Oh, Good Faith. Axes, Flash, coming through. Can he find it? No! She lives. Lilia living with less than 40 HP.
Wow.
That's tragic.
And Action just split pushing, getting tier 2 bot lane as well. Man, that is just so unfortunate. Good Faith has been trying to like keep up in these games this entire time, and he has just been struggling so much. But it does look like Mountain Drake is coming up, and Going Ghost does get the start off in the pit, so they may have a little bit of an advantage here. They have river control a little bit, but it does look like Pate is about to come up towards river.
Yeah, Going Ghost with that river control, like you mentioned, but the Blast Cone over the Flag and Drag in. Keeper's Verdict is gonna go wide. Good Faith caught in the Cataclysm, no flash, nowhere to go, will end up falling. Witch of Black Mass shortly to follow. Zork going to be dismounted, going to be forced to run away. Pate might be looking for more, but that is definitely going to be that Mountain Soul going over to the side of Tenebrous Esports Eternity. A big turnaround from game number 1 as they pick this one up in 5 Drakes this time around and once again set their sights on the Baron.
That's just the power of the Blast Cone, man. I hate that Blast Cone. That Blast Cone is so good if you're on that side of the map, and I do think that T has a little bit of advantage being on this side, I'm not gonna lie. But I also just like that side of the map more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, blue side's fun. But Baron gonna be picked up here. And I mean, realistically, Industrial, what's the play right now? If you're Going Ghost, if you're looking to try and get your way back into this game, what do you gotta do? What's the fight? What's the angle? What's the map play? What is it that needs to be done here?
Honestly, I think at this point they know that they cannot like honestly, it's just there's a lot of little things that they need to do. There's the fact that they realistically can't play too far out of their base. They need to play in like little groups, I think, so that they can at least defend. They just need to, at this point, like as of right now, TE has Baron. They just need to wait out the Baron before they can do something really big and like really crazy. And they just need to play back, they need to play safe, they need to wait out the Baron, maybe get a pick if they can, but this is not the pick that they're gonna want. Tahm Kench is a tanky guy, and he and Atreus knows how to play Tahm Kench. She is doing phenomenal on this Tahm Kench. I love her Tahm Kench. She's doing amazing, and she's just gonna lead them to her team. So honestly, I think the best thing they do is just play safe, play back, farm up. Hopefully, they're just able to catch up a little bit in the gold that they're about to make through Baron. Maybe pick up an objective bounty if they can through split pushing, but honestly, they need tier 2s, and they can't be pushed up that far.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Of course, it is worth noting, this is what I like to call tanky boy Kench. Not your supportive, like, I'm building a locket Kench, but rather Frozen Fist, Spirit Visage, like a high econ tank build. Still really, really efficient, really, really tanky, doing decent work, and you mentioned it. Atreus has looked on point when it comes to these Devourers over the course of both games 1 and 2. And I don't expect to see her let up on that anytime soon. The Siege, though, coming in on 3 fronts right now. Going Ghost forced under their towers, trying to stay alive. The charge coming through mid, but Pate will be able to find that Ignite bot side. The charge gets interrupted by the Cataclysm. Zork not able to find its mark. Good Faith pops instantly. Pate has shown up now, but will not be able to do much. Gets tagged by the Dark Binding. Zork, though, gonna get popped. Rather, get that Hex Drinker popped. Kilgar did end up surviving in that bottom side just barely, but the mid tier 3 will finally end up falling. Inhibitor soon to follow, and it's now a 12,000 gold lead for the side of Tenebrous Esports Eternity. They take another Inhibitor tower, another Inhibitor, and it looks like they're trying to push in, close out the lights in game number 2. Close out this series in quick and dominant 2-0 fashion. Well, not so quick, I suppose, as that third inhibitor tower falls, the third inhibitor to follow, and maybe a fight as well. Kilgar taking that Swainel, trying to dive and getting exhausted instantly, and falls immediately, gets shredded before the fight even begins. It's a double kill for Pape. Make it a triple, rather. Orman's gonna find that one. Sam popping into the hourglass, but not long for this world. A 4-for-0 in the base. Pape make it 5 as the Nexus falls, Going Ghost fall, and Tenebrous Esports Eternity take the 2-0 in the opening week of Zero Gravity Gold League.
Wow. I guess we did get the 2-0 like we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, almost surprisingly. I think I'd have to go back and look because I can't remember my predictions. My voice is gone. These fights, these teams just fight. Like, fight. Only fight.
Hopefully this won't happen again next week. Then you gotta talk even more.
I mean, we'll see. I enjoy these games. Fights are really
Yeah,
fun, but
that was a very good game.
yeah, and I mean, once again, Kilgar, that last fight, I think not doing Kilgar justice. He got popped instantly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for sure, but looking good, all things considered, over the course of those first 2 games. And, you know, good faith in Sam. The Draven Morgana, game 2 looked better, but just not able to find that cash in. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 kills just going over to Poppy, going over to Morgana, going over to Silas, whatever it was, not able to find a cash in until you had already lost so many of those stacks. It was really unfortunate, but a really strong showing in this opening week for TE Eternity, and I think something that they can hold their heads high about going forward. Of course, maybe tighten up some of those fights in that in that early to late stage, especially looking at you game 1, but
Yeah,
I'm curious to see your
mean,
thoughts on the series.
So, honestly, I think Going Ghost also had a strong opening here. They may have lost, but they were able to show, like, hey, we may have lost here, but regardless, we can stand our own. Like, that first game was so long, and this game was also very long. Like, if they just work on, like, building a team that is good together as a whole, I think that they can go really far this season, honestly. Like, I feel very good about Going Ghost. TE also did fantastic. They did amazing. I mean, they won, and I would just say, honestly, the only thing I would work on is, like, a little bit of, like, team fight stuff. Like, there's one thing that I noticed a lot was there was times where they could just, like, Orman would steal Silas ult, or Swain ult on Silas, and they would just sit in the circle. They would just sit in they would just sit in the Swain ult.
Yeah.
And it was really sad to watch, and I was like, just walk away. Like, he's sitting in Zonia's healing back, like, a quarter of his health in the moment, and I'm just like, man, that shouldn't happen. But I see a lot of potential in both these teams, and I think I'm excited to see what happens later in the season. I can't wait to see. I'm just excited to see how all these teams develop and grow throughout the season, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm most excited, of course, to see what will happen in the coming few weeks here. It's definitely going to be an exciting season, to say the least. I will also mention, because people were wanting, like, power rankings or something for written content, I'm not going to do power rankings. That's a mess. But what I will do, and keep an eye out for this, because this is the first time I'm mentioning this to people, logo rankings should be coming out some point next week. I'm going to call out text. Give me your logos, please. We need those. But outside of that, I mean, any last minute thoughts before we close out the stream for tonight here, Industrial? Kind of a surprising 2-0.
Yeah, it's a surprising 2-0. I mean, you guys had the right idea going. You were really close to getting the 2-1 Gambit. But honestly, congratulations to both teams tonight. You guys did fantastic. I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm excited to come back next week and see what happens next.
Yeah, should definitely be entertaining. Next week, we will be covering a Division 2 game, to be determined which one that will be. Keep an eye on the schedule for that. Once again, thank you to everyone here at Zero Gravity Gaming, the admins, the staff, our new producer, Combos, there in the background. Thank you so much for being here, making my life so much easier. Of course, myself, Industrial, on the Colorcast. Thank you again for coming in. And thank you once more to ProComps for sponsoring our season this time around. Of course, the link is in the chat. Feel free to take a look at that if you're interested in some of the tech we showed tonight. That's going to do it for us here, though. So for everyone here at Zero Gravity Gaming, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week. Take care.